What's up, everybody? We are live back for the Indie Games podcast. I seem to say it every time, but it's been a little bit too long. I'm so sorry for that. We try to keep the monthly schedule up and running, but it was a bit of a crazy time with all that showcase season goodness. But we are back on the regular now for another regular Indie Games podcast to bring your way. Thank you so much to everyone who is here joining us. Great to see some new names in the chat. So many great names in there. It's amazing to see you guys in. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We love you. Thank you. We've got an awesome show lined up today, packed full to the brim, that's for sure. That's how we do it on this channel. And we have an absolutely fantastic lineup of guests today. I'm super excited to have such a great crew. We've got a newcomer and a legendary returning guest, and of course my partner in crime on the regular on the channel. But let's dive straight on into this because we've got lots to get through. I'm going to go from the top straight down as I always do. I'm going to start with my co-host who always joins me on the channel and brings the awesome takes. It is great to have him back on for another round of indie goodness. Luke Steele is back in the house today. How are you doing, brother?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? So it'd be nice to catch up on a lot of stuff that's happened in the last however long it's been in terms of indie games, which is quite a lot actually. So yeah, look forward to it.
Awesome, buddy. Well, thank you very much for being back on as always. Always a pleasure, my friend. Next up we have a partner in crime of Luke over on the other channel where they cover games of Green Pass Gaming, the channel that is. Someone who hung out on this channel on the regular, actually doing the Indie Games podcast with me in prior times, which was absolutely awesome. And then things got a little bit tricky, but it's awesome. Absolutely awesome having him back on the show today because I absolutely love his takes. He is a developer in the blossoming stage as it is, which is awesome as well. Someone who always has fantastic insights into gaming and great passion as well. We have Puxley back on the channel. Thank you so much for being back on, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. What an intro. No, I've been very well, thank you. And I know behind the scenes we've tried to schedule this for what seems like forever, and it all just never seemed to align properly. But finally, things have kind of been on the up, should I say, and I'm really happy to have actually been able to get something on, and I'm really looking forward to chatting indie games with everyone tonight. Really looking forward to it.
Fantastic, buddy. Well, it's so good to have you back. I really do enjoy hanging out with you. Bring such good stuff to the channel, great positivity, as I say, and that knowledge of the indie world too is always greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for being back on. And next up, we have a brand new person on the channel, someone who I've been admiring his work covering indie games on his YouTube channel, which I highly recommend you go and check out, guys. Someone, like I say, he will be making his debut today. But yeah, someone who has the smoothest delivery in the game, in my opinion. He has a super smooth delivery, great indie games knowledge. You definitely should get over there and check his channel out if you want to be informed of all the latest, greatest games coming out. But yes, I just want to welcome him onto his channel. Warm welcome to your friend Jacob. How are you doing, buddy?
I am doing amazing. Thank you so much. And what an incredible intro, honestly. Like, how am I even supposed to top that? But I'm so excited to be here. Debut appearance on the podcast, and it's amazing. This is an amazing podcast, and I am so happy to be on. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, pleasure, buddy. Honestly, thank you so much for accepting the invite. You put it out there, you hope, and it's great to have you syncing up with creators like yourself who share that indie passion. It means a lot to me. So getting people on like yourself is fantastic, and it's what this channel is all about, really, just to bring people together who love indie games to be able to share in that passion. So yes, it's awesome to have you. Cannot wait to chat indie games with you today. What we'll do firstly, guys, I think we're going to go a little bit of a warm-up, actually, maybe a little get to know everybody, but also a little bit of what we've been playing. And I think I might carry on with Jacob, if that's okay, firstly. So just give everyone a little bit of an insight to yourself, maybe, my friend, and let everyone know what you're about. If you have a YouTube channel dedicated to indie games, as I know, but are you have you got any favorite games or anything like that in the indie world? And also, what have you been playing lately, my friend?
Oh, absolutely. So, as you may or may not know, my name is Jacob from the channel YourFriendJacob. And as mentioned before, cover indie games primarily, occasionally dip outside of indie games, and I cover genres from Metroidvanias to 3D platformers and pretty much anything that you can think of. I try to cover it, especially upcoming indies. I'll do like indie games of the month videos and things like that. Cover all platforms and try to make as many videos as possible in either list format or dedicated to one game. Now, in terms of favorite game, it's going to change every single time I'm asked that question because I can never just narrow it down to one. But games that have had an incredible impact on me would include games like Stardew Valley. Has had an incredible impact on me in terms of when you think of indie games as escapism, I always come back to Stardew Valley and just living through that what if scenario in a completely different area, different timeline, and just living a different life. That really encapsulates the escapism for me in terms of indie games. And on the flip side, I also am a glutton for punishment, so I love roguelikes and roguelites, and Enter the Gungeon is another one that is very high on my list. In terms of games that I've been playing, I've been revisiting some prior demos from previous Steam Next Fests, including some Steam Next Fest demos that I missed that are still up. So there have been a ton of amazing games from the recent Steam Next Fest, including games like Curse Crackers and Rock and Roll. If you are into 2D platformers, especially retro-inspired, those are two games I highly recommend you check out. Rock and Roll has an incredible 2.5D presentation and a wonderful premise where you are essentially an enemy from a typical 2D platformer, and now you're the star of the show. And it's really well done, really great writing, and wonderful gameplay. And Curse Crackers, if anyone has nostalgia for the Game Boy Color generation, specifically the Game Boy Color, I think you're going to love Curse Crackers. So those have been ones that I've been recently playing in terms of demos. And I have a couple of games that I'm previewing soon. One is Tombstar, so walking it back to Enter the Gungeon, top-down twin-stick shooter, and that's what I've been playing recently.
That is fantastic. I know you went in hard on the Steam Next Fest, which is awesome. I'm the same. I love to get involved in that. There's so many to check out, isn't there? Which is fantastic. And obviously, we were talking a little bit last night when we just did a little prep before the show. And there's so many games in there, which is great to see. You got some great taste. And I know Puxley will probably appreciate your passion for the 3D platformer world, because I know Puxley is a big fan of that as well, aren't you, my friend?
Oh, 100%.
Love it. Yeah, well, that is a wonderful intro, Jacob, my friend. Well, I loved hearing all of that. Such great insights already. And great. That's good to get to know you a little bit, my friend. Thank you very much again for being part of this. And hopefully everyone knows that you're a little bit better now. And looking forward to the rest of the show. So Puxley, even though you've been on this channel before on the regular, my friend, why don't we do this for you? Let's get to know about Puxley again. Maybe new people have come into the channel and checking this out and they haven't seen you before potentially. Let us know about a couple of your favorite games maybe, and what you're about, and basically what kind of games you've been playing recently as well, buddy.
In terms of games I've been playing recently, I think I might be a little bit disappointing on the indie front, because I've mainly been catching up on PS Plus premium titles, which have since that service launched. And so for the most part, I've actually been spending a lot of my time recently just catching up on what feels like an endless back catalogue of PlayStation titles.
Nice.
If I'm perfectly honest.
No, I remember you saying on the show on Sunday, was it? Yeah, Sunday for Green Pass show, yeah.
I believe so, yeah. I suppose it's not really an indie game, but something that leans into the 3D platformer stuff you just mentioned. Yes, I absolutely love it. And a game I never fully played way back in the day. I've actually spent a lot of time recently playing Ape Escape 1.
Nice.
From the PS1, which I've really been enjoying. And it's one of those few things where you don't really see, at least I haven't experienced many games recently which kind of play in the same way. I mean, I appreciate the game was very novel for its time, and that it was the first game, or one of the first, to use analog sticks in a game, I think, ever. So the way that they utilize that, some of it is arguably clunky, and there's a few mini games in there where it's very primitive to today's standards, but just going back and playing it again, it does feel super intuitive once you get used to it, which isn't that long at all. And I don't think I really recall seeing much like it since, really. At least not in my kind of gameplay experience. So
Yeah,
it's definitely something that
nice.
I'd love to kind of see some form of return in. Outside of that, I do have an indie game which I don't think many people may have heard of that I've been playing recently, but it's something that I got a while ago.
Nice.
It's actually on itch.io, and I think it's on Steam as well, but I've been playing it through itch. And it's a game called Hypnagogia. It's called Hypnagogia Boundless
Nice.
Dreams, and it's a PS1, heavily inspired PS1 looking title. But it's a first person perspective, but there's no combat or anything. But you're kind of going through all of these different kind of dream landscapes, and you have to try and save the dream world from falling into nightmares. And it's very, very kind of Japanesey PS1-esque story, and it doesn't make much sense. And the characters and stuff look really good for the kind of style it's going for. And it's a bit of puzzling in there as well, which is really nice. And knowing as well this game's made by one person, it's one of those things that I personally find quite inspiring.
Yeah, sure,
and
yeah.
just playing through it, and it's really good fun to play as well.
Nice, nice.
One more thing from arguably it's not really an indie title, I don't think, but I'll let you guys be the judge. But, my wife and I have actually been playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Yep, awesome. I've
Which has
played
been
that. Yeah,
great fun as well.
yeah. I mean, that's a funny one. Isn't it? The license makes you question it, doesn't it? But then at the same time, the team who make it are probably on the smaller side and all that tribute games. So that makes it kind of it's grey area one, isn't it?
Single A title. I don't know.
Yeah, the old triple I comes into play maybe or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, cool game though. Good stuff. Yeah. So you've been playing that multiplayer, have you?
Yeah, a pair of us, just two of us so far. I went round relatives the other day and we kind of played 4-player, which was really good fun. And then came home and my wife was like, "Oh, I really like that game. We should play it." And I hence us it's on Game Pass, so let's just download it and play it. And that's what we did. And we jumped right in and had a blast.
Awesome stuff. No, fantastic. That is great to hear. No, and like I say, it's great to have you back on. I love hearing about the games you play. You always have that distinct sort of style of game I find that you're into, which is really cool. And yeah, wonderful to have you back, Puxley. Thank you very much. Pleasure, bud. So yeah, finally, Luke, I thought we'd seen what you've been playing lately, and actually I think maybe you have a game that you've been loving greatly, which is in transition to maybe be one of your favorite games. So you never know, that might even have changed your favorite game to knock off the one that we've been talking about previously. But anyway, what have you been playing, Luke? What have you been up to, buddy?
Yeah, I've been playing Inscription. Well, I've actually finished Inscription now.
Very nice.
So yeah, that's kind of consumed my life, I think, for the last maybe 2 weeks.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think I think it's ended up as certainly one of my favorite games in recent memory. I don't know where I'd rank it amongst the pantheon of great indie games, but it's definitely up there.
So you're saying it could be an Outer Wilds beta for you, are you saying?
Oh, I don't know. No, I don't know about that. It's very good. It gives me the same, I mean, in a different way, it gives me the same sort of feelings that Outer Wilds did, in the sense of there are certain games you play and you just become very obsessive about them. You kind of think about them all the time, and after you've played them, you kind of disappointed they're over. You know, you kind of wish you could go back again. And so that's where I'm at with Inscription at the moment, where I'm kind of in this kind of depression, post Inscription depression, trying to figure out what I can play next.
Love it.
And it's really hard. Actually, what I did do was I went and bought Pony Island on Steam, which was Daniel Mullin's prior, well, not his actual prior game. It was his first proper main game.
I actually saw you bought that. I was stalking you on Steam. I saw you bought that.
Yeah, I was stalking you. Just checking if I'm on the Steam Deck, aren't I?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I've been playing a bit of that, which I played before actually on a different account, but that's a really cool game as well. So yeah, I mean, indie wise, that's pretty much the main thing I've been playing. It's kind of dominated all my time. Oh, and I've also been playing, which I'm going to get back into properly shortly, Neon White as well, which is a really, really cool game. And I think if you like, you know, speed running first person shooters, then you'll really love that. I think it's got some really cool ideas and really great art, and the story's kind of a, you know, wacky anime type thing. So it's really well done. So I'll be getting back to that, but I kind of just bought it as I was really getting into Inscription, so it kind of I played like an hour and just kind of it's been on the side since then, waiting for me. So
definitely.
I'll come back to it soon.
Sounds good, buddy. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, it's crazy times at the moment. We've got so many games. As we're going to be getting into, this show is kind of a focus on Silksong, and we're going to be doing a couple other topics as well, which is with a focus on upcoming indie games in general. I suppose you could say a few different topics which will be revolving around that. We'll be picking out one of our spotlighted upcoming indie games that we're looking forward to down the line. We're going to be doing a few new releases that we're looking forward to, and as I say, Silksong, we're going to dive into the news, which is seemingly a bit old news now, but we haven't had a chance to jump on that quite yet on a podcast to chat about how awesome it was to see Silksong return, because we'll definitely be getting to that, and just the excitement of that game, and the 12-month window thing and all that excitement. Amazing stuff. Cannot wait. So hyped for it. But yes, so we got a few things to be getting through, and it was great to get catching up with everybody, but I suppose we should get this rolling. But before I do that, I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat, because I'm seeing so many awesome names in there. Thank you so much, everyone who is joining us. There's so many legends in there. We have Raylia in the house questioning if there's a release date. Raylia has been doing some awesome detective work. I saw his video recently supporting that claim of the 12-month window with the ESRB thing. We'll get into that later, but it's looking pretty promising for potentially us being on the home straight. That's my feelings anyway, and potentially his too. We've got Meisuko in the house, and once again, thanks Raylia for being here, buddy. We've got Robertino Van Dorn, thank you so much for being here. We've got Bonkers in the house, thank you very much. We have Ruby Tellus in the house, or Tells, thank you so much for coming by, my friend. We have Pogo Bro, great to see you in for the first time, I do believe. Thank you very much for coming by, buddy. We have Cali Rex, we have Uncle Mike, great to see you in, my friend. Thank you very much for being here, loving those streams. We have Sarv in the house. Stubbs Gaming back in. Thank you very much for being here, buddy. We have Wolf in Soul. Thank you very much for coming by, bud. Great to see you in. We have Disturbium. Thank you very much for coming by, buddy. Who else do we have? Got so many great people in today. We have Addition Addict. Thank you very much for coming by. Pat Rick. And who else do we have? Anyone else who's here, thank you so much for being here. We've got Scott from Green Pass Gaming as well, and Ori as well. Pixel Slapper 2, thank you so much. Anyone I've missed, I apologise. Really appreciate you all being here, guys. Thank you very much. So as I say, we're going to get this show rolling. Like I say, lots to get through. First topic we're going to jump into is the PlayStation Indies mini showcase that they did recently. They covered 7 indie games, and basically did a little mini showcase. I thought we'd dive into a little bit of what they showed off, but also have a little chat about how we feel about PlayStation are doing on the indie side of things, because it was questionable a little while back. See if we think they've made any progress with regards to their attention to indie games. But yes, let's jump straight on into that. And yes, who should we go to firstly for this one? I think we'll go to the top of the tree on this one and work my way down in case I missed anyone, as always. Luke, my friend, did you check out this little PlayStation Indies 7 game showcase that they done? And if you did, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of it, just kind of general scrolling. They did that thing, and they've done this before, where they just kind of wake up one morning and decide that they're going to show off some indie games.
Yeah.
Obviously it's planned, but like they don't let anyone know that until they're actually ready to do it. So
yes.
And I think it was actually a really, really good lineup of stuff. Some stuff that was a bit unexpected, and other stuff that wasn't. Obviously, for me, Inscription was announced as going to PS4 and PS5, so that was quite topical.
Yes.
Which is great news. Strange that it's not on other platforms as well, or it hasn't been announced for any other platforms, but I'm sure it's coming.
Yes.
But I think Sony have just probably locked that up for a bit, or it might be that the dev have just they're committing resources to one port for now.
They might be taking carefully doing it sort of thing one by one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that was cool. The other one that was really cool to me was the Tomorrow Children, which if people remember, that actually released many years ago. I think it was 2016. and it's essentially a re-release of that, but with lots of new features. That is a super strange but very cool game that actually pushes a lot of tech boundaries as well. It was really impressive for the time, and I think they ended up having to. I think they ended up taking that down at some point. It just kind of got delisted, and then I think the developer I think it was the developer reacquired the IP, so that they could basically do what they wanted with it again. And clearly, that's what they're doing. So that's cool.
Awesome.
I'm trying to think what else. So I think there's a bit of Cult of the Lamb. Wasn't there
That's
as
right,
well?
Cult of the Lamb, Sea of Stars as well. I think you've mentioned.
Sea of Stars. Yeah. And Signalis was there.
Signalis,
as well,
you were keen on that as
really,
well. So this is kind of a Luke set. This is a Luke showcase almost. These 7 games.
It is. I mean, for the most part, it's
Definitely.
it's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Yeah. Although a lot of these are obviously other platform. It's not like which is great. You know, it's obviously the good thing, and they've already been released on PC, of course. But that's always the way anyway. PC for the win. Sorry, I had to get it in there, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's cool. What they don't use this these blog posts to just highlight things that they might have deals with or exclusive independent games or anything like that. They tend to use it to just highlight really cool looking indie games, whether they're on multiple platforms or not. Definitely. So it's really cool that they're highlighting stuff like Signalis on subscription. That's great. Cult of the Lamb, I don't think needs too much marketing because it's
it's going to be
Devolver
huge.
and it's going to be big. Cause it'll be a successful game. So, but I think it's great. Sea of Stars as well. Looks great. So I mean, it was cool. It was cool. And they're doing more of this, which is good, and they seem to have developed this way of doing it. I think this is their kind of indie world, for lack of a better term. This is how they like to present their indie games. It's cool.
And it's short and concise, it's to the point, isn't it? It's quite nice. Obviously, this isn't it's like a short thing, which does get to the point in a good way. Some good games on show. They still got a state of play for the, like you say, for them. Maybe they're doing like Stray on that kind of thing, which is cool. Yes, I think it's good that they're doing this. I don't know if Xbox actually do a little thing like this even.
No, I think Xbox do just the. To be fair to Xbox, they do present, indie games well at any big showcase that they have. Definitely. They're very good at that. And I think occasionally they do the ID at Xbox
the Twitch
streams, don't they?
Your
the
favorite
streams, which favorite best streams ever. But they've improved on that a bit as well. So it's great. I think that you have all 3 major platform holders that have dedicated things for indie games. It shows how far that kind of category of games has come in the last 10 years, that they're an important part of main shows, and they have their own separate thing as well, which is really cool. That's
great, Shao. Well said, buddy. It's good to see. I think they are making progress, and just as a highlight of 7 awesome games, it's great to see. And Signalis has a release date as well. I don't know if you noticed that. It's October 27th, I think it is.
Right. It's an apt release date right before Halloween.
True. That's a good point.
Very atmospheric horror game.
You think that's a bit?
It's good. It's good.
Awesome. Awesome. Nice to hear. So was it on the Steam Next Fest or?
It was.
Nice.
It was. And it's it's a really cool kind of old school PS1 style survival horror game. Really good.
Yeah, very good stuff. Looks pretty damn cool. I remember when we first saw that one back in a while ago. So many games going to be coming in the second half of 2022, in my opinion, on the indie scene especially. I've noticed there's going to be quite a few. Cult of the Lamb very soon. But let's move this over to Puxley. So did you check this one out? I mean, we're checking it out now, if not, because it's nice and short and sweet. So you can have a little catch up in that regard. But what did you think about this little showcase? Did any of the games grab you, buddy? And do you think PlayStation have made any progress on their attention to indies?
So I didn't see this when it got first announced, but I definitely caught up with it a couple of days ago, or whenever it was, yesterday or whatever. and I thought it was actually a nice little kind of teaser thing of just some indie stuff, as you just said. I know we've said many times in the past that PlayStation, at least way back or a while back, were quite vocal about how they're only going to be concentrating on the big guns, those big cinematic story-based titles or whatever. I know a lot of people kind of, I don't know, there was a bit of flack there, I believe, because it was almost like, PlayStation's not supporting these indies, and indies are arguably the more innovative and creative, at least in more recent times, because they can take all the risk, right? But
exactly,
it is nice to see these, and I'd like to think that in time, give it some more time. I'd like to hope that there will be more and more of these, and hopefully PlayStation put themselves in a more position where, yes, they can be a platform for those big, cinematic storytelling games, whatever, but also be a home for indies as well for people that love to play on PlayStation.
Yeah.
I know when you said to Luke earlier about Xbox's side of the fence, and they have their ID at Xbox kind of program, which they toot quite openly, and they do the odd announcement videos periodically throughout the year. So I think they've in more recent years they've been a lot more open to supporting indies, and I think they even have their own. Oh, there's 2 tiers to ID at Xbox as well, which is quite nice.
Right. So
you can kind of, I don't know if many people are aware of this actually, because you have the main kind of ID at Xbox initiative that you can sign up to, and that's when you can put, so it's a big standard release where you can put all the achievements, leaderboards, kind of have the whole Xbox services on there.
Right.
But I can't remember the full name of it, but they also have something called their it's like a creators platform, where you kind of release to a subset area of the Microsoft Store. I think it's for a small fee, but it's like a one-off $25 or something like that. And it's actually more for people kind of starting with console development and getting used to the tool sets.
Yep.
So you can still release things for a fee, if not for free. But this is kind of maybe when you've used the Xbox's dodgy search function, and you kind of see all these kind of little like mobile title-looking games and whatever else. So there's kind of good and bad things. It's less curated, which is why it's like in a separate section. But they have that initiative, which is, I think, is a good thing to have for everyone, which it'd be nice if PlayStation had those kind of things, but equally I can understand, at least from their current stance, I can see why they haven't, but that's not necessarily the best thing, I'll argue. But long story short, it is nice to see PlayStation kind of coming more on board on putting this on their official blog, and not just kind of being some small video which sits somewhere off to the sidelines of the main blog, which nobody really looks at. So it's good to at least have a bit more visibility.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of titles then, I guess. Well, Shim is actually one I've been following for a little while on Twitter, actually. So that was really cool to see that it's coming out next year. And just to see how it's coming along really nicely. I think it's very unique in the whole jumping between shadows and how that all kind of works. It's very creative in how they've done it as well.
Definitely. It's super cool. Yeah, I had quite a bit of attention recently in some of the other showcases that's been popping up in the more indie-based showcases lately as well. So that's good to see. Looks really cool.
And I think Sea of Stars we haven't really talked about much, because I've not actually heard much of this before, but I like the whole. Well, it basically is a homage to like Legend of Mana and all those kind of games from way back by the looks of it, from what I can tell, and it looks like a really cool little game. Following that old kind of, I don't want to say NES art style because it's obviously a lot more modernized now, but it's taking a lot of aspects of that old of those older schemes, and I think even the combat as well, like how the little menus pop up and they're kind of in that blue rectangle, the little hand as your pointer. Just little things, like little details like that, I think are very good thoughts. How they've done that.
I mean, for me on that one, like The Messenger was one of my favourite games. So that's the same developer, obviously. It's quite a bit different to The Messenger. It's not side-scrolling 2D and all that sort of stuff. But the way they did that game, it had so many unique things about that game, if you know what I mean. So that's why I feel really confident this one will be something really cool actually to check out, even though it's not necessarily my instant type of game, if you know what I mean.
I'm in the same field as that. It's not like something I absolutely lavish over, but when I see it, I think, oh, that's cool.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. Good stuff. Any others that jumped out for you for this one?
Signalis actually is another one I'm really looking forward to.
Cool.
I hadn't actually seen much of it before, and I wasn't even aware there was a demo. So if I've missed the boat, then that sucks. But if it's still available, I'm gonna have to jump on soon and download it and give it a go, because that looks really cool.
Yeah, some of the demos from Steam Next Fest are still available. Actually, it might be worth a little look if you're looking to check it out.
Yeah, I'll double check maybe later on or tomorrow when I get some time. But I'll definitely want to check it out because that looks really cool.
Definitely.
I don't think I've got much to say on Cult of the Lamb because I think we all know that we're all looking forward to it, right? So...
Yeah, although it's a roguelike though.
I know, we've had this argument, and this is going to be the weird thing, because maybe I'll play it, and maybe I just won't like it after about 5 runs. But
well, maybe the one that still make you win your heart at the roguelike world and opens it up.
It could be the one game that turns me around. I don't know yet.
It's going to happen, my friend, I promise. Love it. It's good stuff.
I know with the Tomorrow Children, so I do remember playing. I didn't have the game, but I definitely played it when it came out years ago. And I know graphically it was very novel when it first came out, from what I remember. But I will give it another chance. But from memory, I don't remember liking the game too much. But I can't really remember why. So yeah, just from that alone, I can't say that I'm looking forward to it. But it is cool that it's getting a re-release and gives myself and everyone else a second opportunity to properly jump in and give it a go. So definitely, I'll give it a go at some point. But it's, as I say, it's not something I'll necessarily rush to. When it first comes out.
Good stuff.
I think one of the other ones we haven't really mentioned yet. I'm not going to mention Inscription because I know how Luke feels about it. I think it looks really good, and at some point I'll just need to jump in from all the other good things I'm hearing about it. Yeah. But Curse the Golf, I think, is one that we've not the last one we've not spoken about yet, which looks interesting. Definitely. It's a cool little game.
I guess, do you know that's a roguelike as well?
It's what I was going to say. It doesn't, I don't know, it's something about it didn't instinctively get me to it. From a trailer and video perspective, I liked the look of it. It looked cool, but it's not the kind of thing I would jump on immediately. So again,
what you mean. I mean,
it's a roguelike, it's down the list, really.
I'm pretty sure you love roguelikes, really. If not, we'll get there because they're not instantly lovable. I know what you mean when you get. It does take a bit to sort of get your head around them, maybe, or something. But I think I said this on one of our previous shows as well, and you're going to hate me for this. Was that Curse of the Dead Gods is a game that I was really looking forward to playing. Yeah, I played it and I liked it for the half an hour I gave it, but then then I wasn't feeling it, and I just didn't jump into it again. So maybe I just didn't give it enough of a chance. I don't know, but that's been the way with most roguelikes I play. So maybe, as I say, maybe Cult of the Lamb is the turning point. Yeah, I think it might.
Maybe we have to do a whole show as to how I've been converted.
That sounds like a plan to me. You're booking it in right now. Love it. I mean, again, in the first instant, they probably feel like their worst, if that makes any sense, because you just got to know that you're at your weakest at that point, and then you grow stronger, and the more you play it, and it feels better and better, and you're just like some beast, you know what I mean, growing, if you know what I mean. That's kind of how I feel about them.
I feel like for me, when it comes to roguelikes, it's almost as if I think the art style matters for me. I know for some people it's just the gameplay, and it could look in any which way, and people will like it as long as the gameplay's solid. But again, most games, their aesthetic and how they look and just how they feel all comes from the art style. So I think it's a weird kind of mental thing, I think, where if that looks good and the gameplay's fun, then I can probably forgive some repetitiveness if it looks good and feels good to play. But I know so far with some other roguelikes, as I've mentioned before, it's just it's repetition, but not in a good way, in that it all feels very samey, very quick from some of those other ones that I mentioned earlier. Yeah,
I mean, we're getting into that topic. This wasn't even planned, I promise. We weren't going to corner you today.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
No, I was going to say we should have put it as a topic, maybe. But I didn't want you to bring you on and then just say, right, we're going to pin you down now.
Slag me off in front of everybody.
Exactly. By the way, guys, if you're wondering, we had a little conversation about roguelikes in the Green Pass Gaming Discord about, come off the back of their show on Sunday about roguelikes. Anyway, that's what this is all about. But yeah, I mean, Luke will probably agree with me with Hades. It always keeps it interesting. It doesn't really feel samey because these stories are always evolving and all that sort of thing. But maybe Hades is a good one to give another chance to, or Dead Cells. But yeah, I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to corner you into it.
You know what? Actually, Dead Cells was a game I looked at for even before it came out, and I really liked the look of it. But at the time, I didn't have the time to play it, and but more recently, I've now got a bit more time up in that I have to squeeze it up my backlog just to please people, and I'll give it a go and give you my formal review at some point.
Sounds great. I look forward to it, buddy. That's great stuff. Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for those takes. Wonderful as always. And Jacob, my friend, do you play mostly on PC, if I'm not mistaken? Don't you? I think that's correct. Is that, buddy?
That's right.
Yeah, cool. Did you check out this showcase when it went out, or having a chance to check it out now? What did you think of it with the games on show? And do you pay much attention to the console sort of scene? And what do you think about PlayStation and their attention to indie games?
So I did check this out, and I agree with the prior sentiments that this was a nice, fun little thing that they were able to do, and it was a strong list of games, including, we've pretty much gone over everything that was shown off, but just want to reiterate, Shim looks incredible, and what an innovative concept with the shadow stealth mechanics and a wonderful kind of minimalist presentation, which I always love, and Curse to Golf, which, if you're looking at any of the footage and you think it is very cute in its presentation, I definitely recommend playing it because it will put up a fight. It is. It's not going to be super easy, especially starting out. But it does have a nice kind of card mechanic underneath that I really like for changing your shots and things like that. Sea of Stars, I actually would like to formally give my apology to anyone who was looking forward to Sea of Stars this year. It was actually slated for holiday 2022. And then I put out a video highlighting the top upcoming RPG games. And I believe it was the very next day they announced that it would be delayed until 2023.
Right,
and,
okay.
I want to formally apologize because, I'm not saying it was a coincidence, although it probably was. But it was just really interesting to see the very next day. It was like, we need a little bit more time. It's going to come out in 2023. But I think the wait's going to be worth it. You had mentioned that it's the same studio behind The Messenger. Pixel art is incredible. And something that I want to know more about is in their marketing, it says that there's no grinding. And that's something that I really want to have unpacked before launch, because that could mean many different things. Like, how does that factor in to the overall gameplay loop? The other thing that I want to highlight about Sea of Stars is there's a little bit of action in real time with the turn-based gameplay, and I personally like that. I know that not everyone is into that, but it is something that I think is going to make the moment-to-moment battles a little bit more fun for people who do like that inclusion. And there's fishing in it, so I know there are some hardcore fans of fishing games.
True.
And if you're one of those, Sea of Stars is one to keep an eye out for. In terms of looking at the console side of things, I do keep track of it because, most of these games will end up on PC, so it's always nice to keep up with where these games are being featured, because now that we're kind of in I know E3 is coming back, but we're kind of in a post E3 world right now, where there are just a million different showcases and presentations. And on one hand, it's a bit overwhelming to keep up with, but on the other, we get so many more opportunities for indie games of all sizes to be featured, either alongside AAA games or in their own dedicated showcases. And it's also interesting to see, from a creator standpoint, how these are presented. You'll have presentations like on the Xbox side of things that can be very detailed, a lot of interviews, at times can be exhaustive, but a lot of games being featured. And it's not necessarily the wrong way of presenting it, but a different way. Then you have on the other side something like the Nintendo Indie World presentation. And that is something that I've been gravitating towards more lately, where it's just a blitz game after game after game. I've really been enjoying that style of presentation. And then having something like maybe a Treehouse Live afterwards to do interviews and kind of go a little bit more in depth, I think is kind of the best of both worlds. And I've seen PlayStation kind of dabble in that more as time goes on. We're pretty far removed from like Ghost of Tsushima Fluke Guy. Like it's been a little bit of time since presentations like that. And you've seen PlayStation kind of refine their presentations as time goes on. And no shade to Fluke Guy. That was a very interesting thing to do. But if you remember, media was shuttled from one room to another specifically for that presentation.
Exactly, that's the funniest part about it, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
And right, and so I think that was a little bit too much, right?
Yeah.
And we're kind of getting more refined in the way these things are presented, and I love keeping up with it. And like I said, the indie world right now is probably my favorite in terms of the way the flow is, but I do like where PlayStation's head is at in terms of how they're presenting stuff, and also having accompanying blog posts is always good, and something that Nintendo has done and Xbox has done as well. In terms of how much PlayStation has been devoting towards indies, that I don't have as much of input on, other than I try to keep track of individual developers' perspectives and experiences with PlayStation, and it's kind of all over the place. You'll see some developers who really love what PlayStation is doing with their relations with indies, and then you have other developers, like a famous one is Mike Rose from No More Robots.
That's right, yeah.
And he's talked a lot about his experiences with things like Descenders and other games of his, and very different stories. So I think, PlayStation could still have a little bit more time in terms of how they're handling indies and the pipeline for indies to get on those platforms, because at the end of the day, doesn't really matter what you're playing on, whether it's a current gen console, previous gen, or some generic Android tablet. As long as these indie games are on as many platforms as possible, that's only going to benefit everybody as a result.
That's very well said, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. That's great takes. And I remember that Mike Rose situation. Yeah, he wasn't very much happy with his visibility on the store and stuff, wasn't it? I think that was a big part of it, and things like that for the game. But and the thing with PlayStation saying it's hard to decipher, because like when Puxley said earlier, about PlayStation was saying that they're focusing on the big AAAs, there is an element of that where they're probably trying to talk to a certain audience and reassure them that they're bringing the big guns, basically, that they so-called big blockbuster games that they want to see. So I think a lot of that might not be they might not be neglecting indies as much as they're making out, potentially, if that's being kind, but they're probably just doing the marketing to make sure that the market thinks, oh yeah, don't worry, we've got the big blockbusters coming, but really now it seems that they're doing quite a lot for indies still in here, which is actually reassuring to see. But there's been this mini showcase. It's a great list of games for sure. You'll know how excited I am for Cult of the Lamb. Most definitely. I mean, pretty much every game on their Signal list is looking fantastic. Curse to Golf is one I'm definitely really looking forward to, actually, like roguelikes, and the developer of the game is just amazing. I don't know if you've seen how much energy he has, and he's so funny. I don't know if you might have seen him, Jacob, potentially, if you've played the game. But yeah, he's full of beans. If you I forget the name of Tunai Labs, I think they're called. But yeah, he's just full of energy and a great developer, and just passionate about the game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to pretty much everything on here. But yeah, I think it's good to see. Good to see them putting out these showcases, mini showcases, showing off some games and getting us excited for more indie games that are coming our way. So very much excited for that. Let us know in the chat, guys, what are you excited for off these games on here on show? Are you any particular ones that you're really looking forward to? I know some people in this chat are looking forward to Cult of the Lamb a lot. But yeah, so I'm definitely on board with that. 11th of August for that game, I believe. But yes, fantastic takes there, guys. I think we'll keep this moving and flowing, and we'll get into the next topic. I'm going to do a quick little round of shout-outs just before some new people have popped in. We've got Robintino Van Dorn, I think you were here before, actually. We got McMeme, McMans. We've got Stubbs Gaming, Robertino Van Dorn, just on that one. Ash has come into the house. Thank you very much for being here, Ash. Great to see you. But yeah, shout out to everybody who's in chat. Raylia, great people in there. We've got Aurora. my butchering of your names, I apologize for, but thank you so much to all you legends for being here. It's awesome to see so many great people in. Yes, so let's keep this bad boy moving. We are gonna like I say, got a few things to get through, so try and keep the pace up for this one. So next up, we're gonna move into a little cheeky what we call upcoming indie game spotlight. So what we've done for this one is we've chosen one game each off the panel that's an upcoming indie game. It could be coming soon, it could be coming far off, and we've chosen one each that we're really looking forward to, that we think you guys should check out if you haven't already. So let's see, let's start with Luke with this one, I think, and yeah, let's get into some spotlighting of a few indie games for you guys to check out. So what was yours? What was your pick, Luke, my friend?
Yeah, my pick was I wanted to do something a bit different because there's a lot of, Stray, Cult of the Lamb,
yeah.
the bigger ones coming out, which all look amazing. But and it was between this game and Rollodrome, which was announced at the State of Play a couple of weeks ago now. But I've gone with this one, which is Deadlink, and there was a Steam Fest demo for this. I don't think it's up anymore, but it's just a really, really cool game. So immediately, the art style is pretty awesome, actually.
Yes.
Kind of a cyberpunk aesthetic, very stylized though. It's basically a first-person shooter roguelite, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. And yeah, I mean, it plays just incredibly well. It's super satisfying. It's one of the most polished indie first-person shooters I've played, and typically it's kind of a really hard genre to nail for indies. I found, like, there are good first-person shooters out there on the independent scene, but that there's very few that are so fluid, and really satisfying. And I think this kind of hits it.
Nice.
It's got like this, it borrows some ideas from other games, but it has this really cool grapple,
awesome.
Which is super fun to use.
Do you know what this game reminds me of? Sorry to cut you off. It reminds me of Ghost Runner.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going with that?
Well, it's got the cyberpunk look, hasn't it?
But it's not that, actually. It's actually more the gameplay, it's the grappling thing and everything.
Yeah, the grappling, very fast-paced.
Fast-paced, That's a good thing, of course, because you know how much I love that game.
Oh, yeah, no, and that's a great game. This is a bit more meaty, I guess, in terms of combat than Ghost Runner is.
Of course.
Very,
just...
it's basically one hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is awesome.
Got the guns in this.
This is a bit... Yeah, this is a bit more like Doom or something like that from a gameplay perspective.
This is an amazing pick, in my opinion, because I didn't know about this game, and I'm so glad you picked this, because now it's on my wish list.
That's why I'm here. It's really cool. It's a really cool looking game, and I think it's coming into early access soon, I believe. So there's no release date on it. I think they've said early access will take about a year, they reckon, until the game's ready to launch.
Cool.
But yeah, it looks super cool, and something a bit different. As I say, it was only on my radar actually, as of a couple of weeks ago, because I just spotted it as I was circling through the Steam Next page, and immediately kind of drew me in with how it looked, and then I saw it was first-person shooter, and I thought, well, I'll give it a shot.
Yes.
But it's great. It's really good. And hopefully they open up the early access soon. And enjoy it.
Sounds good. Yeah, that would be great. Looking very good. I love the pick. What do you reckon, guys, in the chat? Let us know if it's up your street. I think it's definitely up mine, and I'm going to jump in on this bad boy. But yeah, like you say, I think it's got that, for me, like, got the Ghost Runner vibes, but it does combine it with like something like Doom as well. So it just looks like a blast. But you say you actually played this, and it feels good to play, does it, though? Yeah.
Yeah, it's already very polished in
great.
terms of how it plays and performs. So
awesome.
I think that bodes well for the full release.
Definitely it does, yeah, if it's only in the early stages on the early access and that. So wonderful, good pick, my friend. Okay, Puxley, buddy, we would love to hear your upcoming indie game spotlight. What have you got for us, bud?
Sure thing. Similar to Luke, actually, I originally was going to go with Little Devil Inside, but then I had the same mindset of not wanting to really pick something that I think a lot of people know about. So I went for a smaller gem, which was part of a small kind of 3D platformer-like showcase a good month or two ago, and this is called Little Gator Game, and this is a really small kind of 3D adventure game, I should probably say, heavily inspired by A Short Hike in terms of its visuals. As you can probably tell, it's kind of got that older, low poly aesthetic, which looks really cool. And it's also quite heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild as well, Legend of Zelda. So it kind of has those open world elements where you kind of go around as your little alligator doing quests, climbing up all sorts of different services. You're finding NPCs. You're discovering secrets in the world, exploring, doing quests, finding things for your log. It sounds like a lot, and it is, and especially knowing that it's from a small, like a very small team of people putting this thing together. I think it's really cool, and that it's the heavily inspired parts of things like a Short Hike as well, which really grabbed me of this, because I believe this started as, I don't want to say like a copy, but from what I remember seeing very early on in Twitter when this was kind of going through that stage, it had more of like a top-down view at the time, from what I remember, and it was meant to be quite simple. And I think as the project's gone on, it's kind of gathered a lot of interest and a kind of a larger following. It kind of slowly, or arguably quite rapidly, grew into something that people like the look of. And I think the scope of the game kind of increased a bit more and more and more until you kind of see what we have today, where it's kind of this nice manageable adventure that you can probably a good few hours, I'd say, from what I can tell. I don't know this.
But so something like a Short Hike sort of thing, where it's concise, sort of short and sweet adventure. Is that the
and I
thing
think from the video as well, you can just see how the character walks. He kind of like waddles along and stuff. And that was and I remember seeing on Twitter that was quite an intentional thing to do as well. So, I think the guy very early on admitted that he wasn't that great animation, so it was just something that he kind of threw together. And I believe I remember reading a lot of people saying, and they just liked it. It kind of worked. It had a bit of character because of the fact that you know why it was put together that way, and it just kind of stuck. And if anything, it kind of gives it more character as to as to where it's come from, as well as what it's going to be. So this is something I thought I'd pick out, which I think a lot of people, if you're into these kind of games as well, just exploring, discovering stuff, doing little quests, and hopefully not having to spend hours upon hours of your life completing it, then I think this would be a good pick for people. And the better news is this is slated for release, later this year. No specific date, but it should be before 2023. So nice. Keep your Steam calendars open for this one.
Very cool, very cool. Look at you go. I love that. This is a very Puxley pick, I thought.
100%. I mean, I had to do it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Wonderful stuff, my friend. Thank you very much for that. So, Jacob, we would love to hear your pick now, my friend. What have you got for us?
Sure. Well, keeping on the theme of 3D platformers and 3D platformer related games, my pick is Tinykin. So I don't know if anyone has heard of Tinykin yet, but it's actually coming out next month. And this was a game that as soon as I played the demo, I had a magical moment, which was I stopped myself from finishing the demo because I didn't want to spoil anymore. I was already sold on it, and I was like, I'm going to close this game, uninstall. I'm already sold. This is amazing. Now,
awesome.
If you're a fan of games like Pikmin or even 3D platformers, especially on the Mario side of things, I think you're going to love Tinykin. Essentially, what Tinykin is a combination of that Pikmin-style gameplay where you have little Tinykin that you collect over time and can use to perform various puzzle mechanics or traversal mechanics that will help you through the different levels, combined with a 3D platformer. Now, it also has this really nice aesthetic where, number one, it is a 2D sprite on 3D environment game. And we've seen a lot more of those crop up with games like Demon Turf, for example. I really like that presentation, and it just gives the characters and NPCs so much pop. Really enjoy it. Now, the environments are very kind of crafty, but also very realistic. It's sort of a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids meets Toy Story vibe to the presentation in terms of the environments. And I really like it. It's actually based off of you being stuck in 1991, so you'll have kind of older style kitchens and various appliances that will sort of flood you with nostalgia if you were a 90s kid or older. And for me, I was born in 1991, so I definitely have a little bit of that nostalgia for that. What's very interesting about the way Tinykin handles these sort of Pikmin-esque mechanics is different color Tinykin perform different tasks. Now, you may need a traversal, so you can stack up green Tinykin in order to get to higher areas, like a ladder. You can also use, for example, red or pink Tinykin to move various objects to continue to move on, or to solve some puzzles, or to find like keys to move on to different areas, things like that. Another thing that I want to bring up with Tinykin is it's being developed by Splash Team. And Splash Team definitely knows their platformers. This is a new realm for them in terms of it being 3D, but they made a game several years ago called Splasher. Now, if you haven't checked out Splasher, I highly recommend it. It is a fast-paced 2D platformer with an almost Splatoon-esque mechanic where you have different colored paint that will do different things like jump higher or bounce off walls and things like that. Highly recommend it. Definitely believe in this team. It's being published by Tiny Build, and it's out at the end of next month. I cannot get enough of this game, and the demo is still available on Steam. So if you're looking at this even a little bit, definitely check out the demo. And if you're a collectathon fan like I am, there are so many collectibles. You're going to have tons of fun with this one.
Nice. Because if they're not sold by that, I don't know what would sell them, to be honest. That was brilliantly said, buddy. Amazing stuff. Yeah. Again, I think maybe is this up your street, Puxley? I get a feeling it might be.
Yeah, I didn't try the demo for this out yet, but this has definitely caught my eye.
Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, well said, Jacob. I love the passion there. Fantastic. All three of you guys have just said it so well. I'm scared to say my one now. Jesus, you're on fire, guys. No, brilliant. All of you, great stuff. Let us know what you think of all these so far in the chat, guys. My one might be slightly more predictable potentially, although maybe not. I know some people in the chat may have seen this game already, but the one I'm going to go for on this occasion is Bow Path of Vertil Lotus, because everyone knows I love my Metroidvanias on this channel, and this game looks absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I've done this one on the show before, so I thought it was a good chance to do it. Obviously, there's the inspiration from games like Hollow Knight within this game, hence the reason I said it's slightly predictable. But at the same time, this game looks absolutely incredible and very unique in its art direction, and the inspiration from where the game comes from, which is Japanese folklore, which is absolutely awesome. I just think this game looks truly magical, and just the traversal, the bow staff. I believe Jacob's actually checked this out on one of his videos before as well, if I'm not mistaken, while I was watching a few the other day. So I think you're pretty much excited for this one as well, if I'm not mistaken, Jacob.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, very awesome stuff. Yeah, it's one that's fantastic. I've heard that there is a bit more of a focus on platforming as opposed to combat. Slightly leans towards the platforming side of things. But yeah, this game is looking truly wonderful. It's still quite a way off at the moment, around 2024 at the moment, so not too close, but definitely one to get on the wish list, guys. It had a Kickstarter quite recently. A few of the channels were checking it out, like Aurelia covered it as well. But yeah, just truly wonderful game. So unique in its art direction, but a lot of that familiarity from the gameplay there as well, which I love in it too. So it's kind of a best of both worlds situation where you're getting something truly unique at the same time as something comforting and that's you're comfortable with in regards to the traversal, etc. But just to look at this game, in its surroundings, the Japanese folklore. I'm really a big fan of the Japanese culture in general, by the way. Looks absolutely stunning, the direction of the art in this game. And yeah, I highly recommend getting this one on the wish list, guys, especially if you enjoy games like Ori, Hollow Knight, as it's on the screen right now, funnily enough, just popping up there, their influences. They're very open about that, which is cool. Celeste is on that list as well. Some great games that they've been inspired by to make this one. But yeah, this one is super cool looking game, and I cannot wait to check it out. And very much excited to see where it goes. This beautiful game. But yes, Bow Path of the Teal Lotus, guys. Highly recommend getting that on the wish list on Steam. But yeah, what a wonderful little list of games, guys. Well done to you all. Thank you very much for that. That was a great little round. Let us know in the chat, guys, any upcoming indie games specifically that you're looking forward to that might be more on the hidden gem side of things. Let us know in the chat. We'll read those bad boys out. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And thank you again, everyone who's hanging out. If you enjoy indie games and it's your first time on the channel and you haven't subscribed, definitely feel free to do so. By the way, guys, we'd love to have you on board to share in the indie love, indie game goodness, as we say. That's what this channel is all about, sharing the love for indie games. So yeah, feel free to subscribe if you fancy, and hit that like button if you would as well. It would mean a lot. Thank you everyone who's hanging out, and we're going to keep this bad boy moving. And in the spirit of Metroidvanias, we are going to get into the maybe flagship topic of the day, I guess you could say, which is with regards to Hollow Knight Silksong. Maybe what some of you guys might have popped by for in the first place. But yes, we're going to be getting into some Silksong discussion now, and looking forward to hearing what everyone says about this indeed. So yeah, let's get this bad boy moving. And obviously, let's get a little catch up firstly. About a month ago it was now, at the Xbox showcase, which was pretty cool. I had the shock of my life, to say the least, because I was definitely not expecting Hollow Knight Silksong to pop up at an Xbox showcase. Definitely a surprise for me. I was probably not, maybe not the last place I expected it, but it definitely wasn't where I was thinking it was going to be. It was definitely thinking it was going to be at a Nintendo Indie World, or main Nintendo show where it showed up next, based on the fact that they had done all the marketing with them and all that up to now. But yeah, it was at the Xbox showcase. So Xbox have been doing some cool work behind the scenes. They know what a good game looks like. So that was good to see, getting them on board for Game Pass day one. So that was a really cool announcement that obviously Hollow Knight Silksong is going to be releasing Game Pass day one on Xbox and PC. So that was a really cool announcement. And the other big thing, of course, was that it was noted that it would be, the whole show was based around games that are releasing within the next 12 months. And obviously Hollow Knight was featured as part of this show. So so essentially that was a nod to the fact that it was going to be releasing within the next 12 months. Obviously that's a targeted release date, of course, and things can change in general, just obviously with every single game that is shown. So just take that one for that, what it is. But at the same time, it shows quite a bit that the Hollow Knight Silksong, I think, is on the road, the home straight, as I keep saying. Some people thought it wasn't true because it didn't show up on the infographic thing with all the games that are coming, but there was more games coming than were on that particular graphic. So that doesn't, I wonder whether that's something to do with just the fact that, obviously Team Cherry are not 100% sure that they're going to be hitting that date yet, but I think they are targeting it. And based on some great detective work from Raylia on his recent video, highly recommend checking that out, Raylia's video about the ESRB. Basically, that's the classification of the game. So T for teen, E for everyone, M for mature. So that's been submitted and it's pending at the moment. And they said that actually takes only around 7 to 10 working days to go through. We could be getting a confirmation of that quite soon. And the fact that it's been submitted also, this is the big thing, also you need to have everything, all the content there for it to be able to be submitted. So that is interesting in my opinion. So if you're going to submit a game, you can't just submit half the game, obviously, because there could be some really someone slicing someone's head off or whatever it is in the other half of the game, and then it changes things. So yeah, obviously you have to have all the content there to be able to submit and it be judged, and then judged judged whether it's a T for teen or whatever it might be. So that definitely suggests to me that it is content complete, and they are just working on bug fixes, tweaking and all that sort of thing. I don't know what you guys think about this. I've been talking far too long already, but I just thought I'd give the catch up from the last month or so. But yeah, let's go straight over to Luke on this one. I know it's always take it for a grain of salt and all that sort of stuff with release dates and things like that, but it's interesting to, all that kind of thing, and I'm very excited and very hopeful, obviously, as always, that we're going to be getting it within the next 11 months now, because we've taken a month off of that. But yeah, what did you think about seeing this game show up at the Xbox showcase? I know we're going back in time a little bit, Luke, but what did you think seeing it on the Xbox show?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you, I was really surprised when it came up. Really, really surprised.
Yeah.
I just did not expect it to show there at all. As you say,
No.
Historically, Nintendo, well, not necessarily had the rights to it, but it's always been associated with that platform and shown in any showcases on a Nintendo side. So, it was a really pleasant surprise, obviously. And as soon as it came up, I was like, well, it's going to be in Game Pass, isn't it? It has to be.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're showing it. So, that's really cool. I do wonder if they'll make it available for Game Pass on PC. Because I think that obviously clearly it'll be on, for console, but would they do it for PC? I don't know, because
that was confirmed, but I may have misspoken there.
Yeah, they just confirmed it for play day one with Game Pass, but they do that sometimes, and some games don't come to both platforms, right?
That's right. That's definitely true. Yeah.
So
there was a little the graphic at the end. I think that's where I got it from. But let me see at the end of this trailer.
Yeah, maybe it pops up.
The cloud graphic. Oh, it's coming up now, probably. Let's all wait for it.
Any day.
There you go. PC. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, right, great. Awesome.
that's what I saw it,
that's surprising.
Yeah,
that's surprising
cool.
Because although then again, maybe not. I mean, I don't think the Game Pass stuff will cannibalize what they'll do on Steam, because people love Steam, and a lot of people just don't want to go to any other platform.
Yeah,
Steam,
people might just still buy it Steam anyway. That's probably what I'll do.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'll probably be one of those.
Yeah, I will. That proves the
buy
point.
it anyway.
Yeah.
So. I mean, it was cool. It was great that it was there. Really surprising. And then it looks amazing. It's the first time we've seen it for a very, very, very long time, and it looks like Hollow Knight but with Hornet, which is what it always was supposed to look like. You know what I mean? I think it was really impressive from this trailer how much more fluid and kind of malleable Hornet's arsenal is. I think in the stuff they showed before, obviously, whenever you see Hornet in Hollow Knight, she's always very, very, very agile, obviously, but I was always kind of skeptical as to how they would translate that to something that looks good to play.
Yes.
But they really nailed it here, because she looked like she does in in Hollow Knight cutscenes, if that makes any sense. What I mean? Like when she's just kind of bouncing around. I mean, it looks great. So
definitely.
Yeah, really cool, really, really cool. And I mean the release date. It's who knows. As you say, nobody's tethered to Xbox's proclamation, but
exactly, yeah.
I think on something like this is the type of thing I could see slipping outside of that 12 months. I always thought it would come out next year, but I didn't think it would come out in essentially the first half.
Right.
I thought it'd be quite a late game, and I don't want Team Cherry to rush it, because there's massive expectations on them, and I think they'll deliver on that. But I think they just need to take the time that they need, and maybe development's gone much quicker than they anticipated in the last year or so, such that they feel like they can hit that date. But let's see. The ESRB thing's really interesting. So
it is, because I mean, if obviously, as I said before, with them having the content they have to submit, I guess, but it does suggest that, but still remains to be seen. Obviously, everything could be we it's like I'm with you 100%, as I want them to be get it all completely the best it can be. And I'm sure they'll do that anyway. That's their thing, isn't it? They're very much focused. They're like little geniuses at work in their little sort of lab, aren't they? Sort of thing. So I imagine them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're bothered about the sort of the glitz and the glamour of it, or really they're more about the sort of craft, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But definitely good stuff, buddy. Well, yeah, Puxley, I've been waiting a long time to chat with you about some Silksong stuff, buddy. Because I know you're looking forward to it. Yeah, indeed. So I'm excited for this. So I know you enjoyed, obviously, Hollow Knight greatly. I know all of us did, actually. But yeah, what did you think of seeing this pop up at the Xbox Showcase? Was it a surprise to you? And what did you think of it in action? And maybe what do you think about release date? Or did you like all of the new mechanics? There's a few little sneaky new mechanics going on in the trailer, I noticed, that have propped up since the last trailer. But yeah, just what did you think in general, buddy?
Yeah, I think like everybody that is a massive Hollow Knight fan and has been anticipating Silksong for what feels like an eternity now, I think we was all pleasantly surprised to see this here. And I think it was like the second reveal of the Xbox Showcase.
Exactly.
It was right at the beginning.
That was awesome.
And I think the moment we all saw that Hornet figure just walking, or just appearing even, it was like, what? That's here? That should be on the Nintendo Showcase. Why? What?
Yes.
And again, as we've already said with Blue, seeing that Game Pass Day 1 announcement at the end was a big deal, right? Just in general, because if people aren't on Game Pass, that's fine. But for those of you that are in that ecosystem and are enjoying it, and to know that if you're looking forward to a game like this, you might have to. I would have happily spent all the money in the world on this, but to know that it's part of my subscription, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. I'm not necessarily platform agnostic when it comes to most games. I kind of just play where I feel most comfortable. Like Hollow Knight 1, for example, I actually first played it on the Switch, and I absolutely loved it when that first came out on there. So yeah. But again, I will probably jump on this probably on console, I'd say, I think, rather than PC. But it could change, not that it matters, because cost saves and all that it does now. In terms of the moveset, I think the one thing that did stand out to me, actually, I think there's a point in this trailer, I'll wait till it reruns again, I guess, but there's a point when Hornet is kind of holding onto some sort of rail, she's being dragged along, and there's these massive kind of spiky cog-based things that are spinning around, she's kind of maneuvering around them. But that's kind of the first highlight of many in this, where so Hornet is physically taller and a bit larger, I believe, than Knight.
That's it.
But the environments look like they're the same scale as the first game. As in, they're highlighting that Hornet is a taller character, and a lot of the areas in this do, some of them look quite tight. And I know in the first game they were, even with that extra room because of the smaller height size, were still in a good way, but they felt that there's the bit there just gone by. They felt a bit close for comfort in terms of being able to make gaps or just hitting a spike or something. Yes, and it looks like they've got that tightness in here as well. So yeah. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the moveset behaves. Yeah, I appreciate it's going to play like Hollow Knight, but
yeah, because it does look quite a lot different. But I wonder if it's just going to feel like when you pick it up, it's going to be like, oh yeah, this is really familiar, or if it's going to feel like, oh, this is a lot different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the jump. I think is a good example because that's kind of partly what I'm getting at. Yeah, she's taller, so she's going to be able to jump more, but it gives you a lot more maneuverability. But then equally, I think that might be not a downside to the game, but downside to how you have to maneuver in those tight spots to not get hit. Yeah, there's also like a sprint as well she can do, and like a bait off of the back of a sprint she can do this like long jump basically, if you see what I mean. I don't know if you noticed that in the previous trailer actually, but yeah, that's I vaguely remember, but I can't fully recall.
Quite an
I think the idea just having a sprint, right, I think is a really good thing to have, because I love the first one, but I think once you've got that dash ability, I feel like a lot of people, once you kind of know where you want to go and how to get there and what you need to do, when you know you have to go all the way across the other side of the map, you end up just dashing everywhere. Yes. Which isn't a bad thing, but
yeah, totally. I know what you mean.
You know you're in a rush, but then because you're almost forced to use it if you want to be quick, then it almost stops you from accidentally finding things, which again I know is on the player, not the design. But when if one objective completion's at one point of the map and you have to traverse all the way to the other side, it's a bit of a oh, okay, it's going to take me a while to get there. I don't want to walk there. So
Yeah, yeah,
players are lazy, right? They want to do things quickly.
Yes, I know what you mean, definitely. Yeah, so yeah, but you thought you liked what you saw. What do you reckon to this? You're still thinking about release dates and stuff. Do you think we're looking? We think we are on the home straight at the moment, based on what I said earlier, or what do you feel about that?
I know we mentioned this in a previous show.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I said that I thought maybe I'd see this around February next year. I think I was being quite optimistic in hindsight.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it is leaning towards June, late May or June or that kind of time. No, I'm kind of more thinking around. I know it's got no relation to it at all, but I know when Hollow Knight 1 for Switch was announced, as in, I think it was one of the first consoles it came out on, if I remember rightly.
It came out obviously PC and then Switch second, yeah.
Yeah, and that came out, that was announced early June on that showcase, and it came out at the end of June. So, for no real reason at all, I feel like this may be of similar vein, perhaps. But, I mean, the sooner I see it, the better. But equally, I mirror what Luke was saying, and that, I want them to spend as much time as they need on this just to get it absolutely perfect for what people are expecting. And I think, in a way, they have got a massive challenge. Well, they have had a massive challenge ahead of them, because I think, arguably, a lot of the success of the first game was partially unseen, as in it wasn't expected. Sorry. So to have this massive cult following and then people, like more and more people jumping in and enjoying it is great. But bear in mind, this is only like a 2.5, 3-person team.
Yeah.
So no doubt they're going to be bricking it all the way, wanting this to absolutely exceed the expectations.
Yeah,
the expectations are massive.
I was going to say, can you imagine the pressure? Like, it's the community of the Hollow Knight community is literally, you know what it's like, basically.
Yeah, I don't want to say toxic, but they're very needy.
Well, yeah, they're passionate, yeah.
Yeah, passionate, that's the more political term.
I mean, yeah, obviously, I think they're going to love it, to be honest. I think what this is going to be is, obviously it sounds is a good too true maybe or whatever, but this is, I think what it will be is familiar enough to be like similar to the old game, but with enough freshness in there, with the new moveset, and obviously controlling Hornet is going to be awesome. I personally think it's going to be truly masterful. I honestly think it's going to be that, but obviously that's just me saying that, so that doesn't hold any weight until we see it. But it's just, I just really feel like these trailers are a step above the original. Personally, I don't know about you guys, they feel they're more alive. Like someone's actually just said in the chat, Bonkers is just saying, Bonkers, love the name by the way, saying that the environments feel much more alive, and the level designs are pretty similar, but they're more alive and there's more things going on. There's more like things falling down and things like that, if you know what I mean. And I just think it's really interesting. Obviously, you're ascending in this particular game. It's not descending.
As well, actually, it's more of an open-ended question, because again, the first game before the success was obviously a Kickstarter. Successful Kickstarter campaign, and I think they kind of released the game in a state which was well received at the time, and then they supported it with was it 4 or 5 packs of free DLC, which kind of made it the complete game it is today, and it kind of completed the vision, dare I say. And the game in its entirety with all those packs included is fantastic, and the package is phenomenal, right?
Absolutely,
but do you reckon they're almost going to be like with this game? Do you think they're doing that all in one hit, so we are going to buy have this complete massive package of content, or do you reckon they are potentially going to still be saving stuff to be DLC in the future? Again, I know we don't know, that's why it's open-ended, but
that's a tricky one. I mean, obviously it was all free, wasn't it? Anyone else got any thoughts on that before? Anyone else? Or if not,
that's tough. I mean, it's one of those things where most, like, a lot of developers who I've spoken with have actually said that a lot of DLC is sort of not really in the plans. Like, there'll be ideas that maybe they've scribbled down, on an off chance, but it's not necessarily, like, in the plans, where I don't know if that's the case for Hollow Knight. And with Silksong, I think it goes back to a point that Puxley brought up earlier, which is how small the team is.
Yeah.
I think that in terms of a marketing strategy, having DLC spaced out is probably a good thing. Just to kind of continue to have those hits of like, here's more, right? But
Yeah, that's true.
that's a really tough one.
Yeah, that's a good answer actually. Yeah, I think it probably is more likely that they'll save some, not save it back as the opposite of what they'll do. I think they will do some more beyond. I think they'll put so much heart and soul into the main package potentially, and that will be their full focus. They'll obviously be thinking, oh yeah, we'll do something later or whatever. I don't think they're going to just go, here's everything and then walk away kind of thing. If is that what you meant, Puxley, when you said, like, do you think
effectively.
Yeah, I think they will do obviously a massive thing like they do with, the original, but even probably it will be bigger obviously in its first, full release kind of thing. And then I feel like there will be other add-ons. I wonder if they'll do it free again. They probably will, I reckon. I have a feeling it won't be higher price or anything. Or if it is, it's going to be like a tiny bit more money than this, which is a ridiculously cheap price for what you get. You know what I mean? It's just the best deal in gaming, basically. So I don't understand how they do it, really. But like $10.99, isn't it, in the UK for Hollow Knight, that's full price.
I think it's like a weird like indie dev syndrome thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a term for it. I can't remember, but it's basically like there's a phenomenal name for it, but it's basically where when you're the creator, you just undervalue it much more than what people think they value it for.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen devs like some small indie titles on itch that I've bought and played because they're only selling it for like $1 or $2 or something.
Sure, yeah.
And it'd be a fantastic package, and people are on there saying, like in the comments, why are you not selling this for like $10.99? It's fantastic for what it is, despite it being maybe only like a 4-hour experience. And I've seen this all over the place, and the common response seems to be that, well, if I priced it too high, people probably wouldn't bother even looking at it. So if I make it really cheap, the more people are down. Like, will probably, if people spend what they would spend on a coffee or something on this, rather than, then
it's
5
crazy.
times that, then people will be more inclined to try it out. Whereas if you price it a bit more, people go, oh, it's an indie game, that's way too much, and then just drop it. So that seems to be a common occurrence, which is a shame, really.
Definite, but yeah,
kind of understand the mindset.
Yeah, I mean, like there's so many hours you can get at this, but yeah, like it's a weird one, isn't it? It's like sometimes if you price something higher, people think, oh, it must be really good. Then, if you know what I mean, that mentality. What I mean? Like, it's a weird.
If you don't get your 60 hours worth of gameplay, then it's not worth the money. Kind of thing.
That's something. It shouldn't be judged on hours at the same time. I love Sarv's comment there. I think Silksong will either cost 15 or 30 geo, the currency from the game. So you can only get it if you've got the currency. That's brilliant. Fantastic.
That's a good conversion rate.
Yeah, I wonder what it converts to. So, Jacob, my friend, what did you think about, obviously, Silksong showing up at the Xbox Showcase? Are you a fan of the original game? Oh, firstly, my friend, we haven't had a chat about that before. Are you a fan of the original Hollow Knight? And
yes,
you are. Fantastic.
Yes,
that's good to news. Everyone else would be like, oh my god, if you weren't.
Oh yeah, I might get kicked off the show.
No, you wouldn't. I was going to say that, but I didn't. I restrained myself. No, honestly,
but
it's great to hear. You go ahead, my friend.
Fan of Hollow Knight, amazing game, and a couple of things that I want to bring up. First off, is what an amazing get for Xbox. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit already, where it's been associated with Nintendo, and now it's in an Xbox presentation. I would love to be a fly in the wall for those conversations. Whoever was on the phones or sending emails securing that, because that must have been an amazing process for the team at Xbox to secure that for a presentation, because I think it shows their commitment to indies, and it shows that they're being serious about it, and it elevated the showcase, right? Like, so that is something that really stuck out to me. Additionally, to kind of piggyback off of something that Puxley brought up with pricing, one of the issues that I think kind of leads into indie game pricing is this thing that has been perpetuated by certain content creators and reviewers, which is this dollar per hour metric. And it's, at the best case scenario, extremely flawed, because there are tons of amazing games that are an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours that I would gladly pay a ton of money just for the one singular experience, let alone being able to replay it. And the other way that this kind of falls apart, the dollar per hour metric, is something like Hollow Knight. I mean, if we're going dollar per hour, this is way underpriced.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you would pay over $100 or something for the game, then, wouldn't you?
Right. And how would roguelikes be priced? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are meant to be replayed. Tons of times. I mean, I have hundreds of hours into Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah.
50 plus hours into something like Dicey Dungeons, right? And these are games that are not priced very high. I would love to see indie devs kind of do this more, where they begin to price things higher because they should be priced higher. I mean, if you consider things like inflation, like these prices are incredible for us, but most indie devs are not able to sustain themselves through game development alone. And even some of the ones that are basically making tantamount to maybe minimum wage, right? And to see that creative output and to not be able to sustain yourself, that's pretty difficult to kind of see from the outside looking in. I'd love to see them price it higher, and I would just love to see maybe sales taken more advantage of, because when you price it so low, then your sales, are you even making money off of this game at that point, when you consider things like a 30% cut from something like Steam or Nintendo or whatever platform that you're selling on? We get some great deals, but I also want to make sure that devs can continue to make amazing games as well.
Yeah.
And so I am curious to see, what the pricing is going to be for Silksong. And the other thing I want to bring up is Game Pass, gift that keeps on giving at this point. Like,
definitely.
What an incredible value. And, we're getting games like Silksong in there. That's incredible. And then the last point I want to bring up is somebody on Twitter, under, I think, the announcement for this show, said that they suggested a drinking game for whenever Silksong was brought up. And I just want to send my condolences to whoever brought that up, because
I've been keeping up with the drinks, by the way, so I'm a bit drunk now.
Yeah, I mean,
so that was a bad impression.
Whoever brought that up, they are they're either having a great time or a terrible time.
Yeah. Oh, they're having the drinks. Yeah, I like it. Brilliant. That's a great shout, buddy. Love it. Yeah, so, great takes again, all of you guys. Obviously, super excited. I know so many people are for this game. Imagine the pressure, though. Imagine the pressure on Team Cherry. Like, the first game they could sort of quietly get the game out there. No one knew them at that time. It's a completely different thing for them now, isn't it? It's like all of the world was watching and waiting, basically. It's it's such a different thing for them. That's got to be a lot to do with the fact they just keep beavering away down getting things done. But yeah, I mean, I maybe I'm stupidly hopeful, but I do feel like we are getting close. I know, like, some people like to reserve kind of that kind of thing and just in case it might be longer, but I definitely want it to be as long as it takes. But it feels to me we are getting close. I do think next year is the year. So yeah, I'm hopeful for that February myself. Like I said, there's quite a few new mechanics that popped up in the trailer. Like there's the that kind of downward drill thing going on, which looks quite interesting. There's the up drifting thing, because obviously like Puxley said about earlier, we've got like a bit more scope for well, you actually said it's quite tight still, actually, but I mean, we are ascending is the whole premise of this game rather than descending in general. And there's more agility, there's more abilities to sort of like get around the place. I think there's going to be some interesting platforming. I bet there's going to be some real challenging areas in this game, like we had in the first one, in the White Palace and all that, all those kind of challenging areas. So yeah, I think there's going to be some of that really interesting areas to challenge our platforming skills, and I'm looking forward to trying that out. I mean, yeah, was there anything? Yeah, definitely, fire away.
Because you mentioned the White Palace as well, which was absolutely brutal.
Yes.
For anyone who has finished it.
Yes.
Do you reckon they're going to have any? I mean, not to have any spoilers for anyone who hasn't played the first game, but it has been out for a while, I guess.
I think most people probably will have. Yeah.
The Revenant fight, when you like almost the true ending stuff. Do you reckon?
Right. Yeah,
Do you reckon they'll have things like that in this?
Definitely reckon they will, yeah. So as in like the multiple endings thing, and then like the true ending or whatever, and like, all of those options. I think they'll definitely go down that route again. I mean, did you play through for multiple endings when you did it, or what was your sort of thing? What did you end up with on yours?
You're asking me, sorry?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I think I did the kind of original kind of bad ending.
Right, yep, sure,
And
yeah.
then I think that was on my very first playthrough. I think that's before I knew there were multiple endings. I think it wasn't until afterwards I was like, oh, was that it? And then kind of looked it up. I was like, oh, actually, this is vital thing I've not completed. Oh my god! And then I think that's one thing I liked in how the quests in the first game, they weren't completely obvious to you. Like you heard about them and you discovered them. Kind of like, I suppose, dare I say, like Breath of the Wild after it, where you kind of have this minor log of things, or if at all, but you just kind of discover these things that you can do. But then if you do go out of your way to do them, then you discover all of this extra stuff, or you get like a special item or something vital which makes something else happen. Like this very kind of linear set of events, but they end up being purely optional. And I think that's what makes the experience that much better.
Exactly, and it's kind of the kind of game where you have to like do a little bit of extra research. You can't just always be relying on the game to tell you what to do and stuff. And I quite like that about it, because it's that good that it makes you want to do that, if you know what I mean. In my opinion, that's like, and when I got sort of half, like maybe like quarter of the way through, I'd already sort of realised that how much I'm in love with it, if you know what I mean. So at that point, I'd already decided, right, I'm going to do a thorough playthrough on my first playthrough, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I didn't kind of just go for just getting to the end. I sort of realised this is too good. I'm going to take my time getting through this in one go, if you know what I mean. I want to go back and do another one, actually. I keep thinking, should I stream it? It could be a channel suicide to do that if I'm called out as a fraud. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Are you a gamer after all? It's like, I was playing Cuphead, actually. Cuphead DLC recently. That's actually really cool. But I was thinking, like, this might not be that good to watch, because I died like loads of times before I beat the boss. I don't know if it's interesting to watch the deaths. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think they will be doing a lot of all of that kind of multiple endings and different events being triggered by different things along the way. I really like that about it. Do you think they'll go down that route? Do you think that's something they'll do yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're basically, I can just see them having almost everything in how the first game is and more,
Yes. Yeah, I really do. Yeah. Apparently,
I think one of the things when you invited me on to do the interview a while back, if you remember, I think one of the questions I asked was actually around the moveset and whether or not speedrunning was catered for,
right,
or at least considered. But I mean, I appreciate it was maybe not the first concern, but like if you've watched a Games Done Quick of Hollow Knight and just seen the amount of intricacy that goes into speedrun that game, it's phenomenal to watch. And I think the one from about 3 or 4 years ago, it's very well explained as you watch it, and it's really entertaining. So anyone who's into this and wants to see it speed ran, I guess,
nice,
definitely check that out. But
definitely.
But they definitely take advantage of the dashes and stuff. So as we said earlier, with having the sprinting and the higher jumps and almost kind of just like the leaping and jumping off all sorts of things, I'd also really look forward to, once the speedrunning community gets a hold of this, I think it'll be such a fascinating watch, just because of all the extra things it looks like you're able to do.
Yeah, no, that's a great shout. I definitely can see a lot of speedrunning going on around Silksong for sure, yeah. I mean, I've just put on actually the treehouse in the background, but I don't know if it'll get to the bit where it's where you see the sprinter. There's definitely that bit in this. And the bit where she runs over like the hot coals and stuff like that? Do you remember? Yeah. Like you have to sprint past that, otherwise you die, you take damage or whatever. I love that kind of interaction with the environment that's going on in this particular game over the last one. I really do think it's just like taking something amazing, perfection basically, and improving on it. I know it sounds like crazy, but that's what I said in my video as well. But you're taking like perfection and improving on it. I can't say it another way, guys. It's what Silksong is. It's taking it to new heights. It's raising the bar of what perfection is. That's what I feel. But yeah, I'm really hopeful for it to be absolutely incredible. People in the chat saying that Bonkers says, I think there'll be quests in Silksong, correct? And yeah, that's correct. There's going to be like side quests in this game. I don't know if you guys are aware of that sort of thing. There's the new sort of abilities there's sort of like things you can throw out, as in you can throw the sort of the needle out, and also you can sort of throw these like mini bombs and stuff. There's different things going on, and it changes things up. It seems like it's more of a emphasis on, you know, that ascending and just sort of like being able to traverse and be agile rather than being dashing along the ground or double jump. Basically they're the two things you can do in the other game, which is really fun, but it's not as fluid and flowy by what it seems to me, and I think that's it's going to feel familiar, but it's going to change things up in a sense where it's going to make it feel fresh enough. But it's actually quite a genius stroke, in my opinion, for making it feel familiar but also different. That's how do you do that in a way? Kind of, do you know what I mean? That's quite a hard thing to balance out.
Send a question by Shiznam Ali actually in the chat, if you don't mind me
yeah,
reading
definitely.
it out.
Yeah, feel free.
Asking, is it going to be exclusive to Xbox for a time, or just launching into Game Pass? Hopefully it launches everywhere. I don't believe this is an exclusive to Game Pass on console. I think it was just an
optional. So as in releasing on Steam as normal at the same time as potentially Xbox getting console exclusivity and then a PlayStation later or something. Is that what you mean? So
that's how I interpret it.
I have a feeling it won't be that personally, but they didn't mention anything on that. But hopefully it's across the board actually, because I mean they've got a good relationship with obviously Nintendo. This is being showcased by Nintendo at the moment on the Treehouse from 2019, and to be honest, just reminding like how good this looked in 2019, by the way, guys. So I know
I can't believe it was that long ago.
Exactly, yeah. So that again makes me hopeful. 3 years ago and it looked this good, then I think again, content complete, guys. I think we're on the home straight. Believe it. No, it's all good. But yeah, no, it looked amazing at this point, and I honestly think that they're putting a lot of time into, you know, bug fixes, but also balancing and all those sorts of things. I think it's really like a key thing for a game of this sort of, you know, this awesomeness, basically. This like masterful game, it has to be balanced to perfection. All of, you know, the challenging nature of it as well, it has to be completely well balanced. So I think that's a big part of it. You know, did you ever encounter one bug in Hollow Knight? Probably not, I doubt. And that's not a pun, by the way. But yeah, not a physical bug, sorry. Yeah, don't recall any, no.
I personally don't recall any.
Yeah, I know we were probably playing.
The other two, of course.
Yeah. Anyone else? Or?
Nope.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a well-oiled machine, I would say. But yeah, so I feel like they're going to put a lot of emphasis into that. But yeah, anyone else want to mention anything on Hollow Knight Silksong? Jacob, did you have anything else you wanted to add in there, my friend? Are you looking forward to getting your hands on this bad boy?
Oh, absolutely looking forward to it. And the only other thing that I can think of with this announcement and everything going on is if it gets delayed or if it falls outside of that 12-month window, that might be good for Steam Deck users, because by that point maybe quite a bit more will actually have their hands on a Steam Deck, and I can't think of a better game to experience on something like the Steam Deck.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a great shout. And maybe I'll get my Steam Deck by that time. As Luke keeps reminding me, as mine's on pre-order. He's got his and I haven't. Basically. It seems like everyone's getting a Steam Deck right now.
Yeah,
me.
I've noticed that. Yeah, everybody seems to be getting one at the minute. So.
Yeah, I swear to God, it's just like, what's going on? Like on Twitter every day, someone's got a Steam Deck.
Yeah, someone new has a Steam
exactly.
Deck. Yeah. And the worst thing is, a lot of the time, it's people who like don't even like play PC or don't have much of a Steam library or anything like that.
I knew you were going to say that.
Some console only gamer who's like, oh, I've got a Steam
just thought I'd try it out. What is this thing anyway? I just thought I'd buy it. I don't know.
What is Steam again?
Exactly.
So it's quite funny. But I'm sure you'll get it. When's yours slated for?
The problem is it's actually October, it says on there. So
October,
that's not too good, is it?
Well, they said they were upping production a lot, didn't they?
Yes.
And it seems to be bearing out through colloquial evidence. So,
exactly, yeah, definitely.
Hopefully you'll get your full...
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be lovely to... I don't know if I think I'd have to play it on the PC, to be honest. This particular game, that is, but Steam Deck is just amazing.
I don't know. Yeah, I think when you get the Steam Deck,
really,
you'll probably change your mind.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think it's just nice to just,
Yeah.
like I think the thing that's really great is that if you do play on PC on Steam, you've got the cloud sync, so you can just stop, go to bed and be like, I want to play some more Hollow Knight and pick up right where you left off. So that's the PC dream, and it's now a reality.
It's true. Yeah, definitely. That's a great shout. Yeah, that's so cool, actually. Oh my god, I really need it now. I've been wanting it. I've actually been getting quite like, I really need it to hurry up now. You know what I mean? But there we go. But yeah, this has been awesome chatting about Silksong. Shout out to Matty KO joining us in the chat. Thank you very much for being here, buddy. And shout out to everyone else who is here hanging out. Let's shout out to Wolf in Soul, a little comment from you saying, I love how Team Cherry are completely evolving the traversal into a more fluid and fast Sekiro / Ninja Gaiden style. They could have just done, I guess that means Hollow Knight 2, but this is insanely impressive for such a small team. Well said, my friend. Applause for that. Yeah, that's so true. I couldn't agree more. When you think about it, we're doing a whole new character. It's just very clever, I think, the way they're doing the familiarity with the completely fresh elements to it as well. And I think that's going to be the best thing, because there's going to be a lot of Hollow Knight fans who want that Hollow Knight fix again, you know what I mean? And that's the bit where you see the sprint on the screen now. Did you see that? So yeah, a little bit of sprint action where you can do like a long jump over sort of parts. So just loads of different tweaks, of little elements to sort of the mechanics, I think, which are really cool. But yeah, like I think there's a lot of Hollow Knight fans who are really going to want their Hollow Knight back with obviously a new story. So deviating so really, really far from that is probably would upset a lot of people in a sense. So I feel like the balance of making those people happy with also keeping things fresh, bringing in new ideas, I just think that's going to work well, and I just super hyped for it, as you probably would have worked out well already. Anyone else want to say anything about Hollow Knight Silksong before we move away? Guess that's a no. All good stuff. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. That's awesome. Thank you so much to the chat as well. I know you're probably hyped for Silksong too, so let us know about that again in the chat. But we're going to move on to another topic now. Keep this flowing and on track. Been a pleasure talking about Silksong again. I'm sure we will be revisiting this topic once again when we have any nugget of news that we can get our hands on. But yeah, very excited to see something again, obviously, but hopefully I reckon February 2023 is looking good. I think that sounds right. It's the same date as the original release. Yeah, just feels good. So should we move away then, guys? Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. That's cool. Okay, so just now, actually, what I'm going to do is a little bit of a so I'm going to do one quick hit of something different, which we haven't done before. I'm going to try this out. Something we might do more of, but it's a little quick news bites. So we're going to do like an indie news bites topic. It's not a topic really, it's just me giving you a few nuggets of news. We may evolve this in the future and get Luke involved on this particular one, but it's going to try it out now. So it's going to hit you with some news, guys, with regards to things that have been happening, and then we're going to move on to the final topic of the show. So obviously you're looking at the screen right now. You'll see Crow Swan, the new Crow Swan trailer dropped on Sunday and looks fantastic. Some of you guys have probably checked this out already, and yeah, if you haven't checked it out already though, like I say, new Crow Swan trailer. It's 1 year anniversary from the Kickstarter already, so looking fantastic in my opinion. Super excited for this game, but just wanted to sort of mention this as one of the news bites of the day. Crow Swan trailer is out now. Check it out if you haven't already. It looks fantastic indeed. So yes, moving on from there, what have we got next on the agenda? This is me trying to do the background stuff. So next up we have another bit of news on the scene. Coming up at the end of this month, we have the Annapurna showcase, which I'm super excited for. I know we did the live reaction last year, which was awesome. There's a first show they did last year, Annapurna doing a showcase style thing like the Devolver thing, but they do it in their own way, obviously. With Annapurna having that focus on, these narrative-driven games, always such great games from Annapurna, one of my favourite publishers. And they've got another showcase, as I say, coming this month on the 28th, hoping to maybe do something on the live reaction side of things for it, if possible. So keep an eye out for that. Depends on if it works out with my work schedule, etc. But yes, as I say, keep an eye out for the Annapurna showcase coming on the 28th of this month. Exciting times, looking forward to it. I'm sure we've got a lot of, bit of a trailer on the screen at the moment. A lot of the older games showing on that one. I don't know if there'll be any DLC from any of those. Maybe something coming up from those, but also I'm sure we'll have some new stuff as well being shown, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Another bit of really cool news is that Cuphead actually this very day today has hit 1 million sales on the Cuphead Delicious Last Course, which is pretty damn cool. I've actually checked this game out already, by the way, the DLC that is, of course, and really enjoyed it. I don't know if any of you other guys have checked out the Cuphead DLC yet, have you guys, or
no, I've not jumped into it yet, unfortunately.
Cool, no worries. Well, I have to say, it's very good. Actually enjoying the bosses and everything more than I did in the first time around. Don't know why that is, but I'm just really enjoying it. Maybe it's just the timing of what, how I'm feeling or whatever, but really enjoying it. Super cheap. Get this game. It's like £7 for the DLC, and some really cool new elements to it. Highly recommend checking it out, but it's awesome to see it getting 1 million sales already on that, which is, within since the 30th, obviously, when it released. But yeah, a little bit of news for the old Cuphead. Great to see it doing well, because it, maybe someone might have thought, oh, is it a bit, being quiet? It took a long time to be developed, but good things come to those who wait, as they say, and it's good to see it doing well now it is arrived. And on the final thing to mention on the news side of things is actually, funny enough, something we were talking about a second ago. This one would have been a good one to Luke to mention about, actually. It's a little bit of Steam Deck news. He already alluded to it himself. He's so clever. Basically, it's a little bit of news on the Steam Deck side of things. So it is that they have doubled the production, essentially. I think they were saying, what was it they named it as? They said they have Steam Decks that they've continued to roll out, doubled the amount of shipments. That's what it was. So yeah, they've doubled shipments on the Steam Decks. So that is me hoping that I'm going to get it sooner than October. But it's great to see anyway. Like I say, Steam Deck increasing the amount of shipments they push out, which is great. And also they're continuing to update across the board. As you can see on the screen right now, they're rolling out updates all the time, and probably Luke would be a good man to mention that. How is it, how has it been with the updates? Are they keeping you looked after, Luke, with the Steam Deck, as you're an owner of it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You can see a lot of it on the screen here. Just some really awesome software features that make it, what it is. It's a handheld PC basically, and it's just things like being able to lock the frame rate in the system for all games, so you can just put that to 30 and it will run 30 across everything, or 60 if you can handle it. So really good. They're doing really well with it.
Awesome stuff, yes. And it's just only me outside right now, it seems. But yeah, that will hopefully be fixed soon. And I'll join the party if you let me in.
One day.
Yeah, one day if I'm good. But yeah, no, great to see. They've been looking after everyone so much, with all these updates. And great to see the amount of people who've been picking it up, even the people not necessarily always on PC. That's what I'm seeing on the community. You might be seeing that too through Twitter and stuff. Like you mentioned a minute ago, people picking it up who aren't necessarily Steam hardcores or whatever. That's good to see, actually, isn't it? Because then it means it's reaching a wider audience, if you see what I mean.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's cool. I mean, I think it's one of the things that people who are just really interested in gaming and tech will be interested in this, even if they don't have Steam or don't PC game and stuff. Yeah. So I think that it speaks to how cool a piece of technology this is. And obviously, if you do have a big Steam library and you do all your PC gaming or most of it through Steam, then it's an amazing product. It's really, really cool. It works remarkably well. Love it. One day you will get yours.
One day I will. The only thing is the first game I have to try is Hollow Knight, obviously. Although that will probably run like a dream on it, I bet.
Yeah, it's not a stress for the system.
Not really a stress for it. Yeah. Have you tried Hades on it yet? Out of interest.
No, I haven't tried Hades on it.
Yeah, because that looks beautiful. Oh, sorry.
No, I think that's because did I buy? I only played Hades on Switch.
Oh, did you? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
what does it run like on Switch?
Really well. Really well.
Cool.
It runs
Nice.
at 60.
Oh, does it? Nice. Cool.
Yeah, thankfully. I don't think you could play that game properly.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it feels so smooth and that.
Yeah, so it runs great.
Awesome.
I mean, those games will be an absolute breeze for the deck. They're not difficult for it at all.
Yes, very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
I was going to ask you, Indy, as well. Actually, so when you do get your Steam Deck, is your Switch going to just become an expensive paperweight?
Yeah.
Or...
Yes. I mean, it already it's sat there for so long, actually, recently, anyway. But but since I had the PC, really, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I had the Switch initially for the indie games, really, and then I got a PC, which was actually quite a while ago now, but a couple of years ago or something. And then so since then I haven't really played it really. So I've been doing everything on Steam, and I'm literally so thoroughly invested into Steam and PC now, if you know what I mean. I do still play games, by the way, over on Xbox on Game Pass and that. Like I played a few recently. Actually, I forgot to say what I was playing at the start of the show, didn't I? But yeah, I finished Last Stop recently, playing Cuphead on the Xbox because I had it from the original when I had the Xbox on there, so I thought I'd get the DLC for Xbox. So I am playing some stuff on Xbox still, but definitely most of it I'm playing on Steam now on the PC. So yeah, it'll be amazing to have all of those games that I've got on Steam on the go, basically on the deck. So yeah, it's going to be ideal. Are you getting one, Puxley, or?
Not anytime soon.
No, yeah.
I say a lot of my gaming at the moment it's kind of gone back to console, so I'm kind of more invested there at the moment. But
yeah, fair enough, definitely. How about yourself?
At some point, I'd like to say I will.
Sorry, yeah, cool, nice, my friend. That's great. It's a great device, it seems. And Jacob, are you into the Steam Deck or?
I would love one, but a little outside my price range now. But I'm still very invested in it. And one thing that's kind of come up with the Steam Deck is there is a little bit of competition brewing. So there are some other companies that are making their own kind of handheld consoleized PCs.
Right.
A couple of names like Aya Neo has a bunch that are coming out.
Right.
The Ein Loki is another one. And so I think we're going to have a ton of really good options for something like that. And I'm kind of just waiting and seeing how that plays out, because I think with a little bit more of that competition, we might get some pretty affordable options there, especially for me. Like, I would just use it for primarily 2D platformers and simpler games, so I don't need like a ton of power for something like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, good stuff. Cool. Excellent. Well, that's great. That was a little bit of a news bites that we followed on a little bit with some Steam Deck chat. Always good to do. But yes, let us know what you thought about a bit of news bites. We might do that in the future if you like it, guys. Do you like a bit of bitey news from the indie world? We like to eat up some indie goodness. But yeah,
just a question in chat. If you don't mind me
go
reading
ahead.
out.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
Laurie Mnar, hope I pronounced that correctly, has asked how much is a Steam Deck?
So, I wonder what country they're in. So is it 349, 449, or 549? Is that right, Luke?
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think so. That's pounds, obviously. British. Yeah, pounds. So 349, 449, or 549, I think, in the UK. So maybe $50 more. Like, I just think 50 more in dollars, if that makes sense, I would say. Maybe as a guess.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, brilliant. That was a guess. Thank God. Cool. So that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, depends what you're looking at going for, really. I mean, the middle one is one I've gone for. Luke's obviously, living the high life, so he's on the top end. But yeah,
for storage, really.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's true.
For completeness, then, what are the different tiers of Steam Deck?
So, Luke, you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So the base, the hardware spec is basically the same for all of them. except the difference is the storage. So the base model has 64 gigs of basically flash type storage. And then the middle version has an NVMe, which is 256 gigs. And the top version has the same NVMe. I think it's a little bit faster, and that has 512 gigs. And the top one, the only other difference, also has an anti-glare etched screen.
How did you feel about the anti-glare in the end? After seeing it, did you like the screen anti-glare thing?
Yeah, I think the bit I was worried about was that on some of the previews, when Valve invited people to come and check it out.
Yep.
The anti-glare looked a bit washed out compared to the base and middle versions.
Yes, yeah.
So, which is sometimes a common problem with anti-glare screens, but actually having it in person it's and by no means is the Steam Deck's biggest selling point. It's its screen, because it's just okay. The screen, right? It's not like a Switch OLED or anything like that. It's a decent screen, but in person it's nice and vibrant, and it gets quite bright.
Cool.
And yeah, it looks good. I don't have any issues, and certainly in sunlight, direct sunlight, it holds up really well.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. Fantastic. Yeah, thanks for the question there, Puxley. Appreciate you noticing that one as well. Appreciate you very much. And great question as well from the chat there. Thank you. I've actually just realised I've forgotten to do something. That's all good though. Yeah, so that's that news bites thing. As I say, we're gonna move on to the final topic, which is basically just some new indie releases that are going to be coming out very soon. So we're just going to talk about some games that are coming within this month, and a little bit into August as well, if we wanted to as well. So just a little bit of getting excited for games coming very soon. There's certainly some really cool games coming that I'm very excited for. So yeah, let's dive into some of that right now. And the thing I just mentioned that I've forgotten about was actually that I was going to do a little giveaway. Excuse me. A giveaway. So basically what I'll do is I'll do that very shortly. I've been very kindly given a Steam key to the game Skeleton Crew, which was a game we actually checked out on the channel a while back. It's now released. So shout out to Cindercone Games for supplying the key to do a giveaway with today for you very lovely people. So yes, if you're interested in Cindercone Games, Skeleton Crew is the game. It's a co-op sort of brawler style game where you it's like a 2D sort of side-on perspective. Maybe it'll be something that your friend Jacob might be interested in. Don't know if you've seen.
Very much.
Have you seen Skeleton Crew by any chance? Or
it looks really, really good. I featured it on my channel.
Oh, you've already done. Nice.
A little while ago.
Very
cool. Definitely some mayhem in that action there.
Yeah, it's got some good antics. Yeah, me and Luke did some co-op on that. I did a little video on it actually. But yeah, it's good fun. But yeah, definitely if you want to be up for the key, just let us know. Maybe just what should we do? What I could do is probably just drop the key into the chat and first come first serve. That might be the best way. Yeah, what I will do is in a moment I'll drop the key into the chat. First one to grab it, copy and paste it into Steam and redeem. It is yours basically. So keep an eye out for the next few minutes. We're going to move on to the final topic, as I say, and which that topic is like I say, some new releases that are coming very shortly. And yes, so I'm going to fire it over to my good man Luke Steele to kick off maybe some games he might be excited for. I know one game he is very excited for. I might as well fire that one up for him straight away, and he'll probably know what that's going to be, coming in maybe the 19th. Is it, Luke, this game that's on the screen now that I know you're excited about? Yeah, so yes. You're excited for this one, and any others that you want to mention as well?
No, just Stray.
Love it.
All about Stray.
Love it.
Yeah, no. So this is next week, and I think the other day this went up to the most wish-listed game.
Oh my
Steam.
God! Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Yeah, it's the numbers for this. I think in sales terms should actually, provided it doesn't bomb critically.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it will. It should be really high. I think this is going to do really, really well, which is awesome. So. Yeah, I think we've both been looking forward to this for a long time.
Definitely.
So ever since it was announced, basically, and it's kind of finally here. And it's come at a really good time because there's not really much out at the moment. And so this is I think combination of looking great and also being kind of the summer period of the lulling games. It has really, bolstered how anticipated this game is. So it just looks awesome. I mean, they've shown quite a lot of it. Not too much or anything like that, but enough to get you super interested. And
that's impressive.
I mean, if you love cats, it's just
I was gonna say,
you just gotta.
You're a cat lover, aren't you? So
I am a cat. I have 2 cats.
Love it.
Love cats. So
awesome.
I just can't wait to play this, and it's also coming to PlayStation Plus Extra or Premium.
Puxley is interested in that then, probably, is he?
So Puxley, this is in your subscription. If you do have either of those, it's included free of charge, quote unquote. You can go and play it and enjoy it.
Very nice.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, it's looking fantastic. I don't know whether is there another game you might have known? Because I actually know there's a game that's coming this month. I don't know if you knew it was coming this month, but I'm gonna.
Why don't you?
I'm testing you now, and I'm firing it up. It's a game I know you're looking forward to by a gentleman called Sam Barlow. Did you know it was coming this month?
Oh, I didn't know this is coming. Immortality. I didn't know this is coming this month. Oh, right, awesome. Wicked.
I know, good month.
Cool. That's a really good shout. So this is
it's coming on 26th.
26. Okay, so the weekend is great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, what a great indie month. This is Sam Barlow makes in these days really unique games, which are essentially they're really hard to describe actually, his games, but they're basically FMV narrative, mystery games. I'd probably like that. It's just a barrel of weird terms, but so if anybody's played Telling Lies or Her Story, they'll know what Sam Barlow's about, and this is his next game. This one has some really cool mechanics that were not in his other games, and it just looks really cool. Again, coming to Game Pass, isn't it? So
I didn't realize that until I downloaded the trailer for today. Actually, that it was coming to Game Pass. That's really cool.
So I think it's a heavy narrative driven game. This one's a mystery, as were his previous 2 games essentially. But I think they're great games to just kind of sit down and play something a bit different. And if you really like story, then you'll be covered by this.
Definitely, that's a great shout. And shout out to Shizno Elite, who's just mentioned Bright Memory Infinite is finally coming to console. On the 21st of this month too. This month is actually jam-packed, to be quite honest. There's lots of others, which I will cover in a minute. I'll let you guys go first. But any other things you're looking forward to in, say, maybe July or August, Luke, that you wanted to mention, or?
When does Cult of the Lamb's out in August, isn't it? Is it August?
Yeah, it's August 11th. Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
We are treated right now. We are literally spoiled.
So the next month, essentially, 3 big indie games coming out. I mean, there's more than that, but in terms of really big high-profile ones, what a great upcoming month. So Cult of the Lamb. Played the demo for that. I think you did as well.
I did,
right? Played
amazing.
It's just awesome. It's just really good.
Yes, it is. It's probably my most anticipated on the coming soon sort of games. Definitely, I think after playing that demo, it just feels so good. I feel like it's going to be one of those really satisfying, loops and stuff. The roguelike elements, and it's just it looks stunning as well.
Yeah, I was going to say I played the demo on the Steam Deck. Got to get that in there. Annoy you. But I played it on that, and it really I was shocked at how much it kind of popped off the screen. Even on a display that's not necessarily the greatest display in the world. And then I played it on my monitor, which is an OLED. And it's just unbelievable. It looks so good. It's so pleasing to look at. the way that they do like colors on the foreground and background and the sharpness of it all is like really impressive.
It's
so
super
it
impressive,
just looks so good.
Definitely.
So memorable when you see it, and the gameplay is just so much fun, and I love the humor as well. It's just really silly, but in a kind of enjoyable way. It's kind of like Animal Crossing meets, blasphemous. Basically. So it's awesome.
That's awesome. It. You got to write a review and put that as the final word. That's fantastic.
So, it's great, and I'm sure there's others that look at this. Again, this will do it. Just look at it. There's no way it won't.
Definitely. Let's go to Jacob quickly. I know, Jacob, you're very excited for Cult of the Lamb and many others as well, but I know you did a roguelike video, didn't you, I believe? And Cult of the Lamb was featured in that one. I've been stalking you and checking out all your videos. I apologise.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I've done a couple of roguelike videos, and that one... That was the video that just popped off for the channel, and I'm pretty sure Cult of the Lamb was one of the one of the deciding factors for that.
Sure.
So,
well,
I'm really looking forward
your
to
content being amazing is probably the more deciding factor, I would say.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's nice. All right, everybody, it's the truth. No, we've got Ruby in the chat as well, who cannot wait for Cult of the Lamb as well. She follows me, and I follow her on Twitter. So awesome to see you in, and we're looking forward to it. It's got that juxtaposition between the dark of sort of like the tones, but with also the sort of cutesy art. It's a nice clever balance that they're playing there, so they can tackle these really dark themes but in a cute way, and it sort of works in some strange magical way, if you know what I mean. But so
absolutely, yep.
Yeah, so you're looking forward to Cult of the Lamb. Is the other games that you're looking forward to, Jacob, coming out in July or August, if you'd like, whatever you prefer?
Sure. Let me actually start off with one that just released today.
Oh yeah.
So we had previously talked about Tunic in terms of some of its potential Zelda influences and some of that crossover appeal. One game that I want to shout out that's releasing today is called XL, and this is a game I've been looking forward to for quite some time. And after playing the demo, it really kind of sold me on its premise. It is basically a top-down Zelda-like experience, complete with tons of puzzle mechanics that you're going to love if you're into classic Zelda games. The combat flirts with a little bit of the Souls-like combat, but doesn't go full-on into it. And the amount of polish in XL is incredible. Like, fully voice-acted cutscenes, incredible presentation overall, tons of different kind of biomes and areas of the world that you're going to explore. And I think it's one that is not on enough people's radar. And I think it's something that people should check out. In terms of price right now, it has just released on Steam, 20% discount, $11.99, which is, I think, a great price for something like this. And
Definitely.
It's just it's a wonderful RPG experience, and I'm looking forward to checking out more of it. The another one that I want to shout out very briefly is I got an advanced look at a game called Exodiac. Now, if you are a Star Fox fan like I am, the past few years or so hasn't been the most rewarding in terms of being a Star Fox fan. It's been a bit of a drought, and the only Star Fox games we've had in the past decade were kind of underwhelming and stuck on a platform that most people have kind of forgotten about at this point.
Yeah.
And I love seeing indie devs taking games that larger publishers and studios have kind of left behind and have done their own thing. Exodiac really feels like, what if Star Fox 64 released on the late generation SNES, like complete with that sort of 3D but still very polygonal aesthetic and wonderful vibrant colors. Coming out into early access later this month, and I'll have a video out on that.
Nice.
And
Looks
if you want to see,
really good.
if you want to see if Exodiac does what Nintendo don't. But,
Very good.
Check out that video. That'll be out sometime next
Didn't
week.
even save that for the video, that line either. That was a beautiful line. Yeah, it looks awesome, this one, actually. Grows on me every time I see this trailer now. But yeah, really, I'm actually keen to check this one out. But so it's not out yet. When's this one come out? Sorry, do you know? Is it?
Comes out next week,
Right,
and
cool.
it'll be in early access, so it'll be about 6 levels with some bonus levels, which the bonus levels are absolutely wild. And it also has some of those mechanics where, if you're familiar with Star Fox 64, if you like pass under certain elements of the world or shoot a specific cadence of enemies, you might unlock like a collectible or a route to a bonus area. Like, there is that in here, so you'll have some of that reward for continuing to replay something like this. And there are branching paths planned but not in yet, and I would love to see that, because that's some of my favorite aspects of the Star Fox games, is branching off into different areas and kind of doing a run where you're going into one way or doing a run where you go to another, or sort of figuring out what is going to be required to get to a level you haven't previously reached.
Definitely. Great stuff. Definitely check that one out, guys. And this one's called Exodiac. And the first one you mentioned is XL, wasn't it? Which is spelled XEL, I believe, if that's right.
That's right.
Excellent stuff. Anything else at all, Jacob, that you'd like to shout out that it's coming soon?
Oh, well, in terms of games coming out next month, Cult of the Lamb, obviously.
Yes.
And I had mentioned Tinykin before, but
Yeah.
it's looking like we might get Blossom Tales 2, which, speaking of the theme of Zelda games, Blossom Tales 1, heavily inspired by Zelda, and I'm looking forward to see kind of how that's being expanded.
Nice.
And another game that I'm looking forward to is Timesia. So if anyone is
yeah.
a huge Souls fan,
Yes, I've seen that.
Timesia is definitely one to keep your eye on.
Yeah, it looks good, that, actually. Have you seen that one, Luke? 'Cause you like Souls games, don't you? Have you seen that one knocking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have. Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah,
That's
it does
cool.
look pretty cool, actually, doesn't it? I think it was Eric Cuts for the win. Erica playing that on her channel. She loves Souls games. Yeah, so looked really cool, actually. Yeah, nice. So it's actually coming out next month, is it now?
Yep, currently slated for next month. Hopefully it
Cool.
makes that, because that would be a really fun time.
It seems like there's so many right now. Yeah, it's crazy. Good stuff. Let's go to Puxley and see if there's any things you're looking forward to. If you have any on your radar, if not, I can shout out a few. Anything you've got your eye on, my friend?
There is one that comes to mind, actually, and I believe it came out today. It's not one I'm able to pick up straight away, but it's called Time on Frog Island.
Oh, nice. Another
Which came out today.
Did you see the frog influx recently? On all the showcase, all the frog games.
It seems to be a thing, doesn't it? I feel like people are picking an animal mascot and everyone's just picking frog for no reason.
Yes. Cool. So what sort of game is that one?
So it's like a fixed camera perspective. Think something like Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. So
Right.
that kind of angle. Not quite the same aesthetic though. So the general premise, as I understand it, is that you are a pirate who becomes shipwrecked on an island and ends up being Frog Island, and you basically have to figure out a way to get off of it. And you kind of have to run around, discover kind of where you are, what is even around you. I believe there's a bit of a very small crafting element involved in the game, but it's more about exploring the island and finishing quests to try and figure out where you are, what's going on, and getting off of the island, basically. But the one thing that stood out to me was, again, the art style was quite nice as well, but the animations are quite like nice and nice cartoony way. They're very fluid. It feels really. I played the demo on Steam a while back, and it just feels really nice to control and play. And when it comes to, there are a few cutscenes, but when it comes to general dialogue, it's, well, I say there is no actual dialogue. It's all done via, like the kind of style where there's like speech bubbles that come out of someone's head with just like the item picture or something.
Right. Yes.
With like a rough it's that kind of it's kind of told in that way of just like a symbol will appear on someone's head, and then the character will do like a muffle or something in terms of the sound, and you have to discover and find whatever this thing is they want. And it's kind of just going through that what feels like an iterative process, but the idea is that you kind of learn more about what's going on, where you are, why what's happening is happening, and how you can basically escape and get off of this island. And it looks really interesting. And if you're into those kind of open-ended adventure games with arguably looks like minimal combat, then you may like it. So, and I believe it's come out today, so by all means check it out.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Good stuff. Anything else at all, or was that the only one for you at the moment?
The only other standout one, it's not coming out within the next 2 months as far as I'm aware though, but I can still mention it if you want me to.
Yeah, if you like. Yeah, no worries.
It's a game. It was part of the showcase. I believe it was part of the Steam indie stuff that ended recently.
Next Fest.
It's called The Spirit and the Mouse. I don't know if many people have seen this game. Graphically, it looks really nice. It's made, again, one of many indie games made by a small team. But the story is kind of unknown. But you are a mouse, but you kind of have like these spirit ability type things, and you kind of zip around, and you're also playing from the perspective of, so think Stray but smaller.
right, yeah.
So you're playing as this mouse. The world is very large, respectively, and you kind of looking around, talking to these kind of spirit creatures, and they kind of help you along your merry way, doing what it is you need to do. But what that is, I am not too sure on what that is yet. But you're going around. I believe it's meant to be an old French village. It's kind of like the general location, and it looks really good fun. It's coming out fall of this year is all they've kind of announced so far.
Cool.
But another one I think people may like. Please check it out, watch the trailers, and let us know what you think.
Definitely. Great shout, buddy. Fantastic stuff. So, yeah, Shizna, we're just asking when Stray's coming. July 19th, my friend. Not too long. A couple others I was going to mention as well, which definitely deserve to have some attention and you guys to check them out, because so awesome games. So obviously we've had loads mentioned already. This literally packed this month, but one I'm very much looking forward to is a game called Endling. Has any of you guys heard of Endling? Just out of interest.
Yeah, I have. I featured that on the channel as well.
Nice.
It looks really, really good. And a game to play if you want to cry, I think.
Yes, I was going to say it's pretty hard hitting in a way, isn't it? So it's coming out on July the 19th, this one, which is pretty exciting. It's kind of a survival game. You have to look after your cubs as obviously this fox in a sort of like decaying world where the humans have basically screwed everything up, basically, and they're trying to hunt you down as well. And it's like you say, it's a very emotional game. You have to I think you have to forage for food and all that sort of stuff, and just keep your cubs alive. I think they can die, can't they, if I'm not mistaken, and you have to keep an eye on that side of things. But yeah, the visual style is stunning. It's I love the kind of the soft palette to it. It just looks beautiful. I love the juxtaposition again between these beautiful cubs and the fox and everything in this kind of broken down world, which is quite poignant, and it's actually pretty it's very a modern thing. Actually, it's very, could be related to a lot of things that happen in these days in life. So it's a brave topic to take on, and respect them greatly for doing that. But yeah, it looks just amazingly well done. I think I did play a demo of it a very long while back. It's but yeah, did you check out the demo of it, Jacob? Or
I did a while back. And,
yeah, it might be the same then.
It's beautiful, but it also at times is nerve-wracking when you become attached to those cubs.
Exactly. It's not the kind of whimsical this is like a lovely, just relaxing game. It's it's more that sort of survival stuff, isn't it? Which I think is really cool. It's unique. It's sometimes these sort of art styles of games and stuff, this can be quite a relaxing sort of game, and just sort of not too much at at stake or whatever. But this game, everything's at stake almost all the time, isn't it, if you know what I mean? But that's a really cool premise, and there's some cool stealth elements like you saw probably on the screen there. And I just think it's a wonderful beautiful looking game, and I think it deserves some good attention. There's actually a demo of it at the moment I've just checked for on Steam, so if you did want to check this out right now, feel free. And like I say, the release date is the 19th of July for Endling, which is very exciting indeed. Another game this month which is coming, so another one actually that's coming very soon, actually not that soon, I think it's August, is Curse to Golf. Might be worth just mentioning. Yeah, oh, there you go. 18th of August straight away. So that one's coming in August. I'll quickly mention these, but because they're a bit further off. We obviously mentioned Cult of the Lamb. That's coming in August as well. Endling is coming sooner. I'm really looking forward to, obviously we've mentioned it earlier today anyway, but Curse to Golf, with being a roguelike based, like a golf-like they're calling it. And, it's that sort of mix-up, which is super cool. And I'm looking forward to trying that out. Like you mentioned earlier, Jacob, they got that card system, which looks really interesting. Again, you've played this one, I believe, haven't you, Jacob? You give this one a thumbs up to check out in August. You're going to be diving in?
I am going to be diving in. I really enjoyed the demo, and I'm all about golf games, especially with how indies are sort of taking that and just running with it, from games like What the Golf to obviously Curse to Golf and everything in between. Golf Club Wasteland being another one.
Definitely.
I can't get enough golf games, so I'm
nice.
ready.
Is that come from a love of golf in the first place, or is that just you like golf games? Or
I think where it stems from, and this is kind of way back, is in high school we had a lot of websites that were blocked because we would get distracted and we would play games on it.
Right.
So some of the more popular, like I think Miniclip was one of them, where like we would try to play games on there and couldn't do it. But there was another site called Candy Stand, and it was, I think, by whoever owns like Jolly Rancher or whatever, like did some random browser game website thing or whatever. And the games were very simple, and one of the games that I played all the time was just like a mini golf game.
Nice.
And from there, it just, any golf game that comes out, I'm all about. And I think Golf Story was another one that had a big impact on me because I was just so well done. Bring on Sports Story. Whenever it's coming.
Where is it? It's one of them ones that probably, this is another Silksong situation, maybe they had a really good first game and they're just making sure it's exactly right. I think that was their first game anyway, but yeah, it's super a lot of hype for that game, I can see. But yes, shout out to Shizno who's mentioned that in the chat as well. So good stuff. And yeah, where was I going? Yeah, so the only other one I was going to quickly mention, I've mentioned this on the channel many times before, and I did a little stream of it when the Next Fest was on, and that is finally Midnight Fight Express, which is actually coming out in August. But like I say, I've done a stream on this one. You probably know how excited I am for this game, but it's coming to Game Pass day one. I think it's August 23rd. We are jumping a little bit ahead there. We probably will have a podcast before that show the next time, but hopefully we'll have played some cheeky Cult of the Lamb by their next podcast. I'm not sure. We might even try and get one in a bit sooner because we've been a bit slack lately. But yeah, just so many games in general coming. It's an amazing time. Stray is probably the first up, for diving into, and I'm sure Luke's going to be diving deep into that. So yeah, looking forward to hearing that, and I would love to be doing so too. Is it Epic Games or is it? I think it's Steam, isn't it? You said, Luke, that Stray's coming to on PC side of things. I think it is, if he's not there. I think Steam, because I thought this one might have been one of the PlayStation and Epic sort of games, but I think this one's coming to Steam. But anyways, any other games that anyone else wants to mention that they're looking forward to, just let us know now. Otherwise,
just wanted to confirm Stray for Steam.
Oh, thank you very much. That's brilliant. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's for Steam. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so definitely looking forward to that game. And yeah, it looks awesome. Super incredible, environments and everything in that game too. Like, I love the once again, a juxtaposition between a cat being in this world. It's just bonkers, but a beautiful thing. You know, when would you ever see that in a AAA game, really, if you know what I mean? And that's what I love about the indie game scene. But yes, this has been an absolutely awesome show. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us in the chat. And thank you majorly so much to you awesome guests who have joined us today, and my partner in crime, Luke, who's been awesome as always. Yes, this has been a blast. It's been a bit of a long one. Apologies, guys, for going over a bit of time there. But yeah, once again, we've got through a ton of games. Hopefully you've seen something you've liked this show, and maybe you've popped it on your wish list, or you're thinking, oh, it's a game I'm definitely going to check out. But yeah, it's been a blast hanging with you all, guys. Let's get this bad boy wound up. Starting with, first thing, let's say Jacob first, going from the bottom. It's been an absolute pleasure to hang out with you today, my friend. It's your first time on the channel. You've been absolutely 10 out of 10, top-notch guest, my friend. You're really top guy and amazing knowledge and passion for indie games, and it's been so much fun hanging out. Thank you very much for coming on and joining us. Would you like to shout out where they can find your channel, my friend? I think he might have gone. Anyone? No, all good. Can you hear me all right, guys?
Yeah, I'm still
cool.
here.
You're still there. Fantastic. Okay, no worries. So Jacob might not be. Okay, guys, just worried if I lost all of you at once. Okay, anyway, let's come back around to Jacob. Puxley, a legend as always. Great to have you back on the channel, buddy. Yeah, apologies, it's been a bit of a longer show. We've got so much packed into it, so many games covered. It's been so much fun hanging out with you again. We must do it more often. It's you're a great guy, my friend, and you know, always bringing so much awesome takes and that lovely knowledge that you have of the indie world, as well as, you know, some great insights into games as well. Thank you very much for hanging out today, buddy. Where can they find you, sir?
Oh, I really appreciate the kind words. Thanks, Indy. I know it's been
pleasure.
an awfully long time since we last did a proper thing, as I know we've said multiple times.
Yes.
Outside of the show, but I always appreciate the invites. I hope you know that, and I'm really glad that we managed to put this one together, because I've not talked indie games properly with a group of people for what feels like forever. So
right.
to just have an opportunity to just sit down or sit back, relax, and just discuss indies has been really good fun. I've really enjoyed it. No, thanks for having me on. Yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm one of 4 on the Green Pass Gaming podcast alongside Luke, Flap, and Scott X2. So if you'd like to hear more of me, you can find me on Green Pass Gaming. We typically do shows on Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. UK time. Due to busy work-life stuff for all of us at the moment, we're not completely consistent. We're trying to control that. But if we're not live on a Thursday evening, we also do a Sunday morning, a Sunday coffee morning podcast at 10 a.m. UK time. So if you'd like to hear more of me or us on the GVG crew, please find us there. And thanks very much for Indy again for having me. It's been a blast.
You're awesome, buddy. I really appreciate those kind words, and it means a lot to hear that you enjoy chatting some indie games with us, just kicking back and all that good stuff, because that's what it's all about. And I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much. We'll definitely have to, you know, make it not too as long for the next time. Get you back on again soon. That'd be awesome. Cheers, buddy. Yes. So, Jacob, can you hear us all right?
Yes.
Cool.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. No worries at all. Did you hear me okay about how do it? Shall I repeat, or I'll go back into? Did you hear what I said on the outro bit?
I did not.
Okay, no worries.
Unfortunately,
all good. I'll say,
in the middle of a storm, got kicked off.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh!
Internet, but I'm back.
Wow, it's good to hear you back. I was just basically saying how awesome you've been on. You know, it's your debut on the show here, and you know, couldn't have been, you know, better, to be honest, buddies. 10 out of 10, as I say, guest, as Puxley was as well. You know, you two have been on fire today. It's been so nice to. I love meeting new people who love indie games, as you know, as much as myself. It's truly awesome to be able to share that passion with great people who also share it, you know. And you've been amazing today, brought some fantastic takes, some really cool insights. And if you don't check out his channel, guys, I'll be shocked, because he has got some great videos over there. So definitely go and do that. But yeah, thank you so much, Jacob, for being part of this. Would you like to shout out where they can find you, buddy?
Oh, absolutely, and thank you so much for the kind words. This has been a really, really fun experience for me, and I'm so happy to be on. Now, if you'd like to check out my videos and everything like that, just go to youtube.com/YourFriendJacob. I do videos every week. In fact, I might have 3 videos out next week, which is, I think, a first
Right.
for the channel. But there's so
Right.
many games coming out, I want to try and cover as many as possible.
Yeah.
But if you're ever on the lookout for upcoming games and like list style videos and quick reviews, things like that, I'd love to have you check out some of my videos, and I think you might like them. And we're close to 1,500 subscribers, which feels like a cool number. So if you want to hit the subscribe button after you've subscribed to the Indie Gamer, of course, hop over to my channel and subscribe. That would be amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely do that, guys. He's a great guy, Jacob, and his content is top notch. Super great delivery, as I've been saying a lot. But bringing so many cool games that you really do find some real gems, and I really love that. A lot of the stuff I consider myself obviously to be pretty like. I'm always looking out for indie games myself. I don't want to say hardcore because that sounds cheesy or whatever, but I was going to say it then. But I love indie games, as you know. Obviously, I'm doing a channel about it, and I'm still going over to your channel and finding new games. So, you know what I mean? It's you're finding some real gems there. There's so many to go around, isn't there, with indies? It's just a constant amount of games. So, yeah, great to see so much good coverage on your channel, and keep up the good work, buddy. Get him over that. Is it 1,500 you're nearly at, do you say, for subscribers?
That's right.
Yeah,
closing in on 1,500.
Let's get him over that 1,500, guys. Do it. He's definitely worth your time over there. Yeah, great stuff. Thanks again, Jacob. It's been awesome. And finally, Luke, my friend, always a pleasure hanging out with you for these shows. Couldn't do it without you, buddy. You're awesome, and love being able to just bounce the old indie goodness around and bring on people and just share in all that good stuff. As always, you're on fire, as I say, and looking forward to meeting you, as I say every time, because we're getting closer to it at EGX, as well as Puxley, I do believe. We're heading to the EGX train. Excited for that, guys. But yeah, thanks so much for being part of this today, Luke. Where can they find you, brother?
Yeah, thank you very much. Really had a lot of fun as usual. You can find me basically everywhere that Puck said. I won't repeat that.
Sure.
Plus on here and on Twitter at Steele90. I'll make it a nice quick one today.
Very cool. Good stuff, buddy. Always a pleasure, as I say. And once again, thank you so much to all the legends in the chat. We had some great people and had a really good turnout today. So thank you massively to all of you guys for joining us, and especially to you guys who have made it all the way to this point in the show. But yes, we will be back again soon. I'm not actually sure what's the next thing on the agenda for video-wise. I need to look into that. I've got a few things I've put requests in for, and also stuff like that, but we have a few games that are coming up, but depends on what comes through. And it depends, I mean, like I say, we hopefully might do something for the Annapurna showcase. Might be happening on the 28th. Hopefully something before that, of course, too. But yeah, just keep an eye out. Keep an eye on the Twitter. That's a good way to find out what's coming up. So my Twitter handle is indie_gamer_01. Feel free to follow me over there, and I will definitely post about anything that's coming up, like the next Indie Games podcast or any videos that are going out. But also feel free to join the Discord, guys. Be awesome to have you there. We're chatting indie games in there, keeping the conversation going, and just a fun time. Great people hanging out, basically, and you'll be kept in the loop in that way too. But once again, thank you so much, everyone who's joined us. You're all legends, and have a fantastic time gaming out there, guys, and we'll catch you again on the next one. Thanks again, guys.